Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Racehour Cheltenham preview, coming to you from the Goat Public House in Goatstown, Dublin's sporting pub, and only 15 minutes from Leopardstown Racecourse. Thank you. I'd like to welcome all of you who are watching online. You're very welcome.
You're very welcome.
Especially those of you from the Chalk pub group, from all the way from Auntie Lena's and Bill Chalk's down in Adair, to the Lord Lucan and Lucan, the Oval on Abbey Street, the Bank and College Green, Searsons in Baggot Street, the Dropping Well in Milltown, and the Orchard Inn in Rathfarnham. You're all very welcome, and let's hear it for your host for this evening, Mr. David Jennings.
Thanks very much, Johnny. A very warm welcome, as Johnny said, to the Racehour preview night, sponsored this year by BetMGM and Gambling.com. And BetMGM are non-runner, no bet on all Cheltenham races. And if you bet £10, you get £40 in free bets. And that is to our UK customers. So as Johnny said, I'm David Jennings from the Racing Post. I will be your host for tonight. And now I will introduce you to our illustrious panel. And first up, who is one of the shrewdest judges in Irish racing. He is a racing TV supremo. He can read all his stuff in the Irish field, and he has an incredible record with his naps at the Cheltenham Festival. It's Mr. Donn McClean, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, with you.
Now, next to Donn McClean is Ireland's very own mix of Tommy Tiernan and Neil Delamere. You kind of think he's here for the comedy value, but let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, he's not just a comedian. Last year, he sat in that very seat and told everybody here. So, who was here last year? Oh God, we don't have great return business there. He told everybody here last year that Imperi Pass would not be beaten in what was then the Ballymore. You do remember, and you backed it. And he also gave a serious shout out to Affordale Fury in the Albert Bartlett at 150 to 1. Now, he didn't win, but he was just beaten. What a shout that was. He also rides out in Willie Mullins' stable, so he's got all the gossip from Clyde Sutton. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mikey Fogarty.
Thank you.
Now, we were down having a bite to eat, getting fuel for the show, and I was there eating me fish and chips, and David Mullins walked in, and I just said, I'm just doing my research for the show, Dave, and I want to give you a big introduction. How many Cheltenham Festival winners did you have again? And he goes, 0. And I was like, oh my God, how is that possible? But he is a Grand National winning jockey. He is a multiple Grade 1 winning jockey. And he is a serious judge, ladies and gentlemen. It is Mr. David Mullins. Now, David didn't quite hit the target at Cheltenham. He's had plenty of seconds. But one man who has hit the bullseye at Cheltenham 4 times, 3 times on Tiger Roll and once on Delta Work. And he's got so many fancied runners this year. I don't know how he's able to keep track of them all. He's a jockey riding at the peak of his powers at the moment. He's already reached a half-century of winners in Ireland. There are few riders riding better than him. It is Mr. Keith Donoghue. And last but by no means least, he's here every year. He's tipping winners left, right and centre every year. I know he is a serious following on the Racehour podcast because he is such a good judge, and all his eggs are in the Monty Star basket this year, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Diarmuid Nolan. So just to talk you through how the night is going to go, and for all our viewers at home, we're going to do it day by day, and we're going to have a little break after day 3 just to recharge the batteries a little bit, to have a rejuvenated Gold Cup day, and hopefully we'll all be done in around 2 hours or 2.5 hours, depending on how good Mikey is. So we'll see how it goes. So we're going to kick off, as always, with the Supreme Novice Hurdle on day 1, and at the moment, Ballyburn, as you can see, is our 5-4 favourite. Tully Hill is 9-2. Mystical Power is 6-1. Firefox is 7-1. Jericho the Repelay is 8-1. Slade Steel is 12-1. And it is 16-1 bar. Right, Mikey Fogarty. You got your winning banker up last year, your charity bet. Congratulations. You are, I suppose, part of our eyes and ears in Willie Mullins' stable. Have you any idea where Ballyburn is going to run?
No, Dave, sure. No one knows, I'd say. Willie doesn't know. It all depends, I suppose, the next 10 days and where other horses are going and stuff like that.
Where do you think he'll run?
It's 50-50. Like the way the Bingham is looking, sure you could easily see him slotting into that. And although he seems to be the main one for the Supreme, he usually likes to get off and win the Supreme, so he could run in that too. So it's as much up in the air as anything.
It might be get so.
Yeah, we give you. So tell me this, right? Ballyburn is a horse. Where do you stand with Ballyburn? Are you a fan?
Yeah. Am I a 5-4 fan? Probably not. No, not first. No. And the Supreme. No, there's just too many good horses in it, so it'd be a bit short for me.
Okay, that's Ballyburn. What do you fancy if you think Ballyburn is too short of 5-4?
I was a fan of Tully Hill. I rode work on him there a couple of times during the year, but he's obviously gone shorter now. He's 7-2, I think now.
9-2.
I think he's in the 7-2.
He's 9-2.
Around that, okay. I like that Jericho the Repine. I just think Nicky's horses didn't run great that weekend up in Doncaster. The Farmers Frank the other day. I just happened to be in Newbury the day he won at a sale, and I really liked him. And look, there's going to be no pressure on him. I just think at 9-1, he'd be the one I'd have my few Bob each way on. Okay,
9-1, Jericho de Repine. David Mullins. There's a lot of talk about Ballyburn. There's a lot of people in the Mullins camp who thinks it doesn't matter what race he runs in. Wherever he turns up, he's going to win. Do you share those thoughts?
I do, yeah. I always looked at him and thought maybe a Gold Cup horse, but Willie seems to think the opposite. He could be, if he jumps a fence as well, he could be a champion chase horse. So you don't know which way Willie's going to go with it, but I see him being a staying chaser in the making, that he has to go for the Barring Bingham.
And obviously it's very hard to read Willie. I know you're his nephew, you know him as well as anybody, but I don't think anybody really knows Willie. Right here, right now, we're just under a fortnight out from the race. Do you have any idea where you think Willie is going to run him?
I did, and Mikey actually said a good point there, that he likes to get off and win the Supreme Novices. That's the only reason I can see him running them in the Supreme Novices.
You think the other race is a better fit?
I think the other race is definitely a better fit for him, yeah. Okay,
so if he doesn't run in the Supreme, what's going to win it?
Out of the ones you have on the sheet, I suppose.
Well,
I don't
there are just to clarify, there are other runners in the race. The sheet does not dictate what actually runs in the race. So just because a horse is not on the screen doesn't mean they can't run.
But you go straight to Tully Hill, like it's you have to fancy Willie's horses. As Mikey said, he does like to get off and win the first race. But if you take out Ballyburn, you're betting without him. Like Tully Hill was very impressive the other day. I was talking to Danny about it. He reckoned his jumping isn't good enough. I thought it was good enough the other day. He is the one. Like, I know Patrick thought the back end of last season that he was the best bumper horse they had. He rode him in the Punchestown bumper as well. So to me, Tully Hill is he's nearly as exciting as Ballyburn. I think he has more gears if he jumps well, which I think he will. Danny doesn't think it, but you're paying me here tonight.
Well, I'd say they'd get Danny if they could.
Yeah, Danny priced himself out of the market, so he did. Who's a better judge, Danny or David, Mikey?
David, I think. Yeah.
And if Danny was sitting beside you,
Danny is a better bottle, but David is a better judge.
Okay, so I have to say I did a preview with David Casey on Friday night. And I went into that preview thinking Ballyburn would definitely run the Supreme. And because he was so complimentary about Tully Hill, I kind of came away from the preview thinking, do you know what? Tully Hill could be the number one in the Supreme for Willie Mullins. Keith Donoghue, if I could offer you to ride on any horse in this race, who would you ride?
Oh, Ballyburn. Just jump out, let him at it and lie up his neck.
Have you ridden against him this season?
Yeah, in a maiden hurdle, if you want to say. I rode against him. He was in the race ahead of me.
Could you see him? Yeah,
at the start. Yeah.
How good is he?
I think he's very good. I think he's just rock solid. And as the boys are saying, that Willie likes to get off to a good start. He's more solid than Tully Hill. I'd agree with Danny. Tully Hill, every time he sees a hurdle, you can see him backing up and backing off a hurdle. He doesn't jump quick enough for 2 mile, and I think Ballyburn will run here. Obviously, Mystical Power is a very good horse as well. You can knock his jumping a little bit as well. Will he be as good on a sharp track like Cheltenham? But Ballyburn, I think he'll run here and he'll win.
Okay, Ballyburn 5-4. That could look a big price if he does run here. Diarmuid Nolan, we've only actually mentioned 2, and Keith then mentioned Mystical Power. Is it a more open race than the market suggests? Have you managed to dig deep and find anything at a bigger price?
I'd like Firefox here. Again, the two scenarios being that you're probably backing him each way against Ballyburn, because I do agree with the lads. I think if Ballyburn runs here, which I actually think he will, I think A Little Antique is being left out of that conversation. But again, we can talk about him later on. I think he's a better horse than we're giving him credit for. But Ballyburn wins, I think, but Firefox is very good against him at Fairyhouse, albeit obviously Ballyburn, like a lot of Willies that time of the year, needed a run, more than likely. But still, 2 out when they set down to the task. Firefox did look very, very quick when he skipped away from him. Last time, Firefox obviously flopped badly, but a lot of Gordons were kind of running poor that time. If Ballyburn doesn't run, I'd be very happy to take on Dullhill and a Mystical Power. I think the two of them don't jump well enough for a 2-mile Division 1 race like this. I really don't. And Firefox, for me, needs a bit more experience. Obviously, unfortunately, hasn't got that into him. That run last time is not ideal because, again, he does bid to become the first horse since Tourist Attraction in 1995 to win the Supreme off the back of an unplaced effort. So, he does have an awful lot of trends against him. But
Give us that stat again.
he bids to become the first horse since Tourist Attraction in 1995 to win a Supreme off the back of an unplaced effort.
God, it took a while to find that, I'd say, didn't it?
It did. It did. I kind of kept going back this has to end at some point. But because Fast Vega last year nearly did.
Yeah. 1995?
1995, which Willie won his
29
first.
years.
What
That was Willie's first winner, wasn't it?
Yeah.
refused time before?
Horses that completed the start before.
Ah, sorry.
Sorry. No,
Keith,
I spoke wrong.
don't take the good out of it, right?
No.
Never let the truth get in the way of a good story. We'll forget about
didn't.
LeBake.
I didn't count LeBake. Just sorry. But yeah, no. So he's very good. Would like him to have a bit more experience, but I just think he's the paciest horse. Love the way he jumped at Fairyhouse, and 7-1 there each way. I do like him.
Okay, so it is Firefox for Diarmuid Nolan each way at 7-1. So on Firefox, Donn McClean, I actually watched the race this morning. The Firefox beat Ballyburn in the maiden hurdle at Fairyhouse, and I know it was Ballyburn's first run of the season, and Firefox had won a bumper at Down Royal, but I actually forgot how easily Firefox beat Ballyburn. Like, he was actually going away from him nearly again at the line. It was quite convincing.
Can I just come in? That's the race I rode in. And
Yeah.
it was a very false race. We hacked around, literally hacked to the top of the straight, and the two of them just sprinted. And I'd say Firefox just got first run on Ballyburn.
Okay.
That's my opinion now, but it was a very false race. When you see that half of the field were inside the distance of 45 lengths, inside the distance behind Ballyburn and Firefox, it's a false race.
Okay, you're just after ruining my question. So, Dom, we now know why Firefox was able to beat Ballyburn so easily at that Fairyhouse earlier on in the season. Can Ballyburn reverse the form?
Yeah, look, I'd say Ballyburn's the one to beat. He runs here. It is pretty fascinating trying to figure out where they're going to run, because I was thinking if Tullyhill is the number one outside of Ballyburn, and Willie tends to run as number ones in the Supreme and in the Bearing Bingham, the two number ones, then surely they'll want Paul Tellin to ride Tullyhill and also Ballyburn. So, and Tullihill's only in the Supreme. To me, that's kind of key
Now,
piece of information.
this is the thing that has come up in the last week, where everybody is utterly convinced that Tullyhill is going to run the Supreme, right? But there's nothing in the book that says Tullyhill can't be supplemented for the Bearing Bingham. Nothing.
It'd be unlikely, though, wouldn't it?
Well, I don't
I
know.
thought, yeah.
I'm sure
Well, they could do that.
Cheveley Park have a few quid. They're all right.
Yeah, they're all right.
But it can happen. I'm just saying, it's. I don't know if it is absolutely cut and dried that Tullyhill will definitely run here. Like,
They might leave him for Fairyhouse.
I doubt that. But sorry, I interrupted your point.
I don't think there's any reason to step him up and trip. He's entered in the Supreme. He's a 2-mile horse. He's a horse who, like, all his form is over 2 miles, so there's no need to run him in a Ballymore. Whereas with Ballyburn, like, you can argue that, as Mikey was saying, he's a staying horse in the making, so he could easily step out and trip, and he's won his made over 2.5 miles. Mystical Power, on his breeding by Galileo out of Annie Parry, you'd think he's going to want a trip, but yet he won a Moscow Flyer hurdle and he's keen, so you'd think this maybe is the most likely race for him, although he does have an entry in both. And on Firefox, yeah, like, It was interesting on Hansgrave's hurdle weekend when Gordon Elliott had the 1-2 in the Royal Bond hurdle, the Grade 1 race. Gary O'Brien asked him at the end of the day or at the end of the meeting, what's your best novice hurdle? And he said Firefox. And in the Lawlers race, I know he only finished 4th, but he wasn't right that day, so you can forgive him that. And like, he's a horse from Cheltenham, there's plenty more to come, I think. But I like Tully Hill. I know the lads were saying about his jumping. He made a mistake at the 5th class. I thought his last 4 jumps the last day were good. Like, remember, he ran in the bumper, in the champion bumper last year at Punchestown against the Dream to Share instead of Ballyburn. He ran in the winner's race instead of going in the champion bumper. And Tully Hill, he was beaten at 8-1 on his first run. Then he won at Naas and won again there at Punchestown the last day. And I like, if he can improve his jumping just a wee bit. He's got an engine. He's got a good aggressive style of racing. He beat good horses in that race the last day, and he beat them well in a good time. So I think Tully Hill is a big player here.
And do you think now with BetMGM 9-2 with Tully Hill, that could be a phenomenal price if?
Well, you see, that's it. But then if Ballyburn runs, he's going to be a bigger price.
Is he going to be bigger than 9-2?
Yeah, maybe he won't be a whole lot bigger. You're right. He'll be a lot shorter than 9-2 if Ballyburn doesn't run, and he won't be that much bigger if he does run. Yeah.
Okay. So in a word or 2 words, depending on the horse you fancy, who wins the
Tully
Supreme?
Hill. Tully Hill.
Mikey Fogarty.
Jericho de Repenay. Are you sure he's 9-2? Like, I'm just looking up on Racing Post here, phone, it's 7-2.
Yeah, I know, but our sponsors for the night, Mikey, who, thanks very much to BetMGM, they have sponsored the night.
Yeah.
And they have provided the prices.
All right.
So these are the prices with
There could be a few hours now.
Do they take bets for Cheltenham? Yeah.
Mikey.
I thought MGM, I thought that was in Las Vegas, Dave. Sorry.
I'll tell you what, right?
I never seen a bookie shop MGM and
I'll tell you what, Mikey, right?
It is that company.
Right, okay.
Those are our BetMGM are our sponsors.
Right.
I'll tell you what, Mikey. Because we love you so much, we'll get in touch with them after the show, right? And we'll find out if you can back Tully Hill at 9-2, because you cannot believe he's 9-2. But you think 9-2 is a good price?
Those prices are from earlier, so he could be that could be moved now. But
today, though?
Yeah. Today, okay.
Tully Hill?
No, that Jericho de Repenay.
Oh, sorry. Jericho de Repenay. Sorry. Got distracted
He's
from the price.
9-1, David.
9-1. Yeah. Jericho de Repenay. Okay. 8-1 with BetMGM. But anyway. David, what wins the Supreme?
Tully Hill. I might be after doing Danny override now already by saying Danny doesn't think if Ballyburn does run.
Yeah.
I kind of regretting saying that.
He'll get over. So you're Tully Hill 9-2?
Yep.
Keith?
I'm going to take the chance that Ballyburn runs here. And
Perfect.
I think he's a certainty if he does.
Certainly. And you're with Firefox?
Firefox, yeah.
Firefox 7-1. We're going to have a little bit of early audience involvement now, okay? So we'll see. There's a few shrewd judges here now, okay? Hands up who thinks Ballyburn is going to run in the Supreme. Oh, right, okay. And hands up who thinks he's going to run in the Bearing Bingham. Okay, it's literally half and half. Oh my God. So we really don't know. It's 50-50. If he runs here, you'd imagine he's going to be odds-on favourite. If he runs in the Bearing Bingham, he's also going to be odds-on favourite. But time will tell. Hopefully we'll find out soon where Ballyburn is to run. That is the Supreme Novice Hurdle. We're up and running. Kicking off now with the Arkle at 2:10 on Tuesday week as it is now. It's fast approaching. Marine National is currently our 9-4 favourite. Now, Mikey, are you happy with these prices? Are you happy now? 9-4 Marine National. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's
I don't want to.
That's the same. Yeah, no,
Okay.
we're okay.
I don't want a fiasco developing like the Supreme again. Okay, so these are the prices: 9-4 Marine National, Elete Thompson's 9-2, Founder 56-1, Facile Vega 8-1, Gaelic Warrior 8-1, Hunter's Yarn 8-1, 10-1 JP R1, Calixios 10-1, and 14-1 Bar. Donn McClean. It's a nice open Arkle, and you know what it is? It's got Donn McClean written all over it. The more open the race, the better Donn McClean is. So take it away.
I like the favourite.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do.
It's a very un-Donn McClean thing.
I haven't backed him yet, but yeah, I just think I think he's on his best form. He's the best horse in the race. He was one of the best novice hurdlers last season. He's got course form in the Supreme Novices Hurdle. Like his first run this year in the Beginner's Chase, that was a phenomenal run. Like his jumping was superb. He didn't miss a beat. He was long when he was long, and he was good. When he was short, he was able to go in and pop. He was 3 seconds faster than Dino Blue was in winning the Grade 1 Chase later in the day. And like he disappointed last time, but it just wasn't his running. For whatever reason, it wasn't his running. And maybe on better ground back at Cheltenham in an Arkle, fast pace. Yeah, like I just think he's a very, very, very good horse, as we saw last year. Look, it's hard, and I'm sure Jim will have stats on going into an Arkle on the back of a bad run, on the back of a defeat. It's not easy, but
Yeah, but will they be right?
Yeah,
will the stats be right? He got found out in the Supreme.
Eli Tito, I like him, but like his runs at Cheltenham have not been good. He was well beaten in a Triumph Hurdle when he went into in the back of a really good run in the Spring Hurdle. He was well beaten in the Supreme Novices Hurdle last year when he was well fancied, and like he's so good at Leopardstown. He just doesn't seem to be able to produce it at Cheltenham. In the pocket might come into it. I'm not sure if he's going to be supplemented or not.
I think it's starting to look dodgy.
Yeah. Hunter's Yarn is a good horse. Like he should have won the first day. He won well the last day. I think he's 142 over hurdles, so he's probably going to have to improve a bit. You know, like you can make cases for lots, but I just think Marine National is the best horse in the race.
I have to say, Don, of all the horses I thought you'd tip tonight, Marine National would have been bottom of the list that I thought, because he's favoured, because he's coming in on the back of a bad run. But you're keeping the faith.
Keeping the faith.
Keeping the faith. Donn McClean is with Marine National. David Mullins, I've got a tricky question for you here. And I don't want any oohing and ahhing. I just want you to say the name of a horse. Who will Paul Townend ride in the 2024 Arkle?
Probably Facile Vega, but it won't be on the winner.
Do you think Facile Vega will run in this race?
Well, sorry, I don't think any of Willies will win it. That's why I'm
Okay.
just looking at one horse, JPR1.
You fancy JPR1?
Yeah, I think Marine National, if you can forgive him, which is a cliche as well, I don't forgive him. He won the Supreme on soft. They said the ground wasn't right the last day for him. He came up the straight. I thought the first time with his legs tied together, I didn't think the horse was right. That was my own view looking at it. Elete Thomas found a 50. Facile Vega, Hunter's Yarn not good enough. Wrong way around. Gaelic Warrior. Henry said he fancies Quilixios. Says he's not out of it. But I've always been a fan of JPR1 from, remember the Derby sale?
Are you biased now because you underbid him?
I didn't get that out of him, so.
Bloodstock in here now as well.
Yeah, no, Mikey Fogarty had him and he said he was a good horse too, so he's the one. I think he's rock solid.
Okay,
Johnny had him, no, I did not.
JPR1 at 10-1. So Johnny's brother, who I'm sure you're in partnership with, I'm sure you get a cut. Do you get a cut out of these horses?
I didn't know him. No, I didn't.
Nothing. You didn't get a penny out of selling JPR1?
No.
Don't
I
believe
rode
that
him
for a
couple
second.
times. No,
That's
but
your second
I
leg
didn't
of the
know
night.
the horse. Sure. Yeah. So
How good is JPR1?
Very
do you
good,
think?
yeah.
Is he very good?
Yeah, we went around. I remember going around Thurles as a young horse, and he pulled about 7 or 8 lengths clear. I think we had complete on loan the same year as well. And
That's with Paul Nichols now?
Yeah. There were 2 good horses. And
That over fences.
No, well, we didn't work down over the fences the last time because it was a bit.
They wouldn't be around here today.
That's why you let him
We
on.
tried
7 or 8
that one.
lengths clear.
We tried that once, but it didn't work out. So we worked down the straight and the flat in March after the last meeting. But yeah, no, a very nice horse. I give him a big chance. But I agree with Don as well. Like I'm not going to blame the ground too much. Marine National. He didn't look like the same horse at Christmas, and I think if he turns up the way he did at Christmas, and if the ground dries out, I think he'll win snug. Yeah, but JPR1 to chase him home.
Okay, just to stay with yourself and David there. Gaelic Warrior. What's your thoughts at the moment on Gaelic Warrior?
Oh, very good horse. I seen him work one day, beat a Lord. Serious horse. Just didn't happen for him the last day. I would forgive him. He may well run this, and it's just the right-handed, isn't it? Like he jumps a bit right-handed, and I don't think you can get away with that in an Arkle. Like if on the old course, like you're on the turn the whole time.
Have you given up on Gaelic Warrior?
Oh, I was never a fan of him. Oh, I was hated him. I did back him in.
Did you back him in the
Predator.
Boodles once upon a time?
I did, yeah, but no, I can't even understand why you'd bring this horse to Cheltenham. Just go to another Grade 1 in Fairy House, like. It's as simple as that.
Okay. Keith Donoghue, you've been second in an Arkle on Gabanaco. What would you like to ride in this year's race?
My mate Mozzie.
Well, I was going to come to that, thinking that he'd probably go to the Grand Annual.
I'd say you will.
Where do you think he'll run, my mate Mozzie?
Sure, look at it. He's favoured for a Grand Annual, so you probably have to go for the race so you have the best chance of winning.
So he's got a mark of 150. The handicappers put him up £4. Do you think he's a well handicapped horse off 150?
Is any horse well handicapped off 150?
Well, is my mate Mozzie?
Say not.
No.
No.
Okay. Could he creep into contention in an open Arkle if he did run it?
So that's it. You're riding him to run well, and if you finish third, it's a great run, and if you finish second, it's brilliant. Like, and you probably need a bit of luck to go your way, and you need a couple of them to disappoint.
How good is my mate Mozzie? Like, I really fancied him in the Galway Hurdle during the summer, and he ran an absolute corker. I think he even might have just poked his head in front, maybe 50 or 60 yards from the line. He's ran so well in so many big races. He's due a big one, isn't he?
He is, but it doesn't work like that just because he's due one. He'll have to fight for it.
Yeah.
I just think a lot of it will depend on the ground too. Like, if the ground is going to be soft the first day and it looks like it's drying out an extra day, he could wait for the Grand Annual because he's definitely ground dependent. He won't want soft in the description. And I think Marine National is the same. I think if the ground is soft, I don't think he has any chance in it with his wind. He looks like a horse that can't breathe.
So what's going to win it then? We've figured out two horses that probably won't win it. What's going to win it?
I normally have an opinion on a lot, but I actually have no opinion on this. It's very
None.
open. No, I think the track will be too tight for Founder 50. He'll jump out to the right as well. I think Leopardstown suits him. Eli Thompson, is he the one to go with?
I don't know. I'm asking the questions.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Okay. So you've answered a question with another question. It's an open Arkle, Diarmuid Nolan. You're a stat man. What have the stats shown you? Have you good stats on this race?
No, definitely not.
Oh, sorry
I wouldn't
about
be
that.
mad
I was building you up there.
I just had the first one, but
What wins?
I like Quilixias a lot in this. I was a huge fan of Marine National. I still am, obviously, but just he looked like a horse in distress last time. Ilate Toms has now been brilliant twice at the DRF and flopped twice at Cheltenham, really. Found a 50 jump to his right. Vassal Vega doesn't want 2 miles. Gaelic Warrior, you couldn't have him at Cheltenham at all. Hunter's Yarn's very raw. JPR 1, my only issue with him, he's very solid, but the UK novices last season were a mile off the Irish novices, bar Stay Away Faye, really. They're absolutely miles off them, so I do just kind of struggle to see it with him. But of course, over fences, he could prove that wrong. And just by the factor of kind of cancelling out the front few there, I've ended up with Quilixias, who won very well first time. Obviously, the 3 mile experiment definitely did not work, and last time over 2 miles. He's probably not the quickest horse for a 2 mile race like this, but I just think that he's very quick jumper. That kind of keeps him involved. He'll track along. He's a previous festival winner. 10-1 just looks very, very big, considering how open a race that it is. And I actually quite like him. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Make a compelling case. So across the line in the Arkle, which means, Keith, you're going to have to say something. The Arkle winner is?
Quilixias, sorry.
Quilixias.
I don't know. I'm not saying that, but I'd only be making it up. There's no point lying.
David.
JPR 1.
Mikey.
Marine National.
Don.
Marine National.
Marine National. There you go. That is your Arkle Novices Chase at 2:10 on Tuesday week. Moving on to the Champion Hurdle, which has utterly changed complexion in the last 48 hours or so. We were rocked by the news, of course, that Constitution Hill worked deplorably at Kempton on Tuesday morning, and now he's not even favourite, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, the prices on our screen behind us. These are non-runner, no bet, of course. So it's 8 to 15 Stateman, 8 to 13 Constitution Hill, Lassie by 3 to 1, 11 to 2 Irish Point, and 10 to 1 Bar. David Mullins, the last time there was a big doubt about a horse running the Champion Hurdle was Epitaunt a couple of years ago, who was coughing. And I said to you, if your dad trained Epitaunt and Epitaunt was coughing, what would he do? And what did you say?
Tell him to stop.
Tell her to stop. That it was no big deal. Get over it. And that Epitaunt would win the Champion Hurdle. And you were right. And Epitaunt won the Champion Hurdle. So mucus in lungs, a dirty scope, Constitution Hill, now not favour for the Champion Hurdle. How worried are you? First of all, will Constitution Hill run in your mind?
Yes.
Will Constitution Hill win?
Yes.
Okay, why are you not overly concerned like the rest of the racing world seems to be?
I am a good bit more concerned. Coughing is a good bit different than
Is it?
Finishing tailed off behind your 2 lead horses in a piece of work on nice ground around Kempton.
Is that unusual?
That's it. It is unusual. It does happen, and horses can definitely get over it in 2 weeks. It wouldn't bother me to make a. I don't know if I should be saying that, but I've seen horses work a lot worse than that and still win in Cheltenham.
Really?
2 weeks before, yeah.
Well, that's obviously good info, because I would have no inside knowledge into how horses work and how poorly they can work and how quickly they can bounce back. But are you saying that you've seen or you've ridden horses, not to name any names, that have worked
Seen and
deplorably in the lead up to Cheltenham and won at Cheltenham? Well, Vautour is one. That's a high profile one who worked like a drain, I think, a week beforehand, and then worked a little bit better 4 days or 5 days beforehand. But there are examples.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of them, and bad scopes 2 days beforehand. I've seen the dirtiest of them scopes as well, and still win.
Wow. Okay. So there's hope for any Constitution Hill backers. If we do see the real Constitution Hill, does he just beat Stateman again?
Yeah, you'd have to be a small bit worried about how much Willie is keen on Stateman and always was before this news came out about Constitution Hill. Still, he's not in the same league. Even if he does improve a bit for last year, and Paul Townend saying he wasn't the real Stateman, he still can't really get near Constitution Hill, even if he does underperform and he improves. So I think the gap is just way too far.
Okay, so it is a confident vote, hopefully, for Constitution Hill for David Mullins. Mikey, are you more or less concerned about Constitution Hill than your old buddy, old pal David Mullins is?
I would be. Vautour was consistently working bad. I don't think. Your man just has one bad bit of work, like, so that'd be a bit of a worry, like, you know.
So you would have preferred him to work bad like a few weeks in a row?
Yeah, well, like, they're not like stories. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
so,
you brought it up.
Pardon?
You brought it up. Go on.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I don't know if you could compare the two.
Okay.
Like, well, we knew about Vautour. We don't. Sure, he hasn't ran all season. Maybe he has been working shit all season.
I don't think you would have brought him there and let that. I don't. I think you wouldn't let that happen. It's a freak show. I've never seen anything like it. It was great viewing, and I felt sorry for Nicky.
Did you?
I did actually.
Do you get pleasure in other people's misery?
No, I felt sorry for him.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Like Joe Duffy.
And God no. So I don't know. I don't really know, and I think he'll still win, and I think he'll get over a bit of mucus. And I'd still like to ride Constitution Hill. Yeah.
When we were downstairs just having a quick chat when we were having a bite to eat, you thought it was extraordinary what you were seeing at Kempton. You said, "I've never seen anything like that before in a piece of work." Why?
Over, as we say, a bit of work on a poly track in Kempton, over a mile and two, everything should come down the straight on the bridle. It's just, Nico's more of a genius than I already thought, to be able to go, gee, this horse doesn't feel right. I'm going to, I've never rode a horse that, they don't tell you that, like, do you know what I mean? You'd want to be really, really know the horse or know signs for him to go, here now, this is our big bit of work before Cheltenham. I'm not going to put him in this bit of work, like, and we might have to do it again. Like, so, very strange. I'm only saying what I personally, if I was Nico, you'd have to give him some bit of a, to see what's there. But he really looked after him. Nico's obviously, I'd say, half trains the horse with Nicky, so he knows him really well. It's strange. You would be worried, but look I still think I can only go what we see, and the Constitution I see, there's no way Stateman it could beat him. So that's all I'm going on. But look, a Stateman is a walkover for if Constitution Hill doesn't perform.
Any chance Stateman can reverse the form from last year with Constitution Hill?
A fully fit Constitution Hill? No, I don't think so. Just don't. The lads have kind of covered it all. There was just such a gap between them, and I don't think Stateman has. I haven't seen that he's improved all that much this season compared to beating Honeysuckle pre-Cheltenham last year. That's, you could think it. So no, I don't think so.
Keith?
Yeah, look, as the lads have covered it very well, if Constitution Hill comes there 90%, he probably still beats Stateman. He mightn't beat him in the same wow factor that he has been, but he'll probably still win. I do think Stateman has improved a little bit this year, and he definitely running to a little bit of a better level. But yeah, as the boys have said,
I've never seen it. You can't picture it happening in Ireland. Do you know? Imagine like Gavin or Gordon, or imagine it happening like in it's just not something that you'd see ever really in Ireland, I don't think.
But do you think because he's such a high-profile horse, there was going to be journalists or cameras or there was going to be something there? Would
I'm
you
just-
just
I'm
in
just-
Ireland, it just would have kept it
No,
quiet, I'd imagine.
I'm laughing at the reaction of the trainers in Ireland if it happened. Do you know, it'd be funny, like, you know, it's their arse at the end of the day. It's not the end of the world, like,
Yeah.
you know, no one dropped dead. I'm just saying, I can imagine Gordon if you know, or someone like, what happened? You know, it would be funny. But look, I hope that they get him around, and it'd be great for racing. Racing needs that arse.
Yeah.
He will never do a public public workout like that again, ever. He'll never do it again.
Don, are you worried?
Yeah, like it's kind of fascinating from an objective perspective, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not obviously good if you're a Constitution Hill camp, but like I'd listen to the lads here, the horsemen. You know, what's the precedent for this? Is there, you know, any precedent for horses working like that and then coming on and winning it? And you know, but obviously looking at it, you have to be concerned by it. I mean, I was thinking Statement would get closer to him this year anyway. He'd be in my 9 lengths last year. Paul Townend said that he wasn't at his best last year, that he thought he should have been beating the other horses by more than he did. And I agree with Keith. I think Statement looks like a better horse this year. Like his performance at Leopardstown over Christmas was very, very good. And look, the last day Perry Pass didn't run his race. They tried to lead him. He didn't like it. He jumped poorly. He just wasn't a horse who liked being in front. And he's not even going to Cheltenham now. So you can Statement. But he's such an uncomplicated horse, Statement. Like they left him in front at Point of Sand last year and he just sat there in front and waited for Paul Townend to tell him when to go. He's a very, very, obviously he's a multiple Grade 1 winner. He's a very, very good horse. But yeah, look, it's yesterday's piece of work just throws everything up in the air. Like you're betting 8 to 15 one and 8 to 13 another. Yeah, that's unprecedented too.
They really pushed out here with the betting, didn't they? You kind of
Like,
3 to 1 bar.
it's hardly a master stroke, like, just to lump on him now at the end of next week. If they were big punters.
well, not
like,
with these anyway, because he's only 8 to 13.
Like it's technically
Just to clarify, they are the sponsors of the show, and we're delighted to have them. So everybody who's watching in
But there's also a difference between
BetMGM, thanks.
with the non-run no bet prices and an actual
Yeah,
active
absolutely,
book
yeah.
is completely different. Like
Yeah.
non-run no bet. That's what
like
the market's
you can get a lot of money on him now, like, and technically nothing wrong has happened. There's no, you're allowed to do it. It's a bit of work at home, so it could be a master stroke.
Maybe if Emmett Mullins done it, you'd be
That is your 2024 champion hurdle, which is a little bit of a riddle at the moment because we don't know what's going to happen with Constitution Hill, but hopefully he shows up because every Cheltenham Festival needs its proper superstar, and he is the bomb, Constitution Hill, so hopefully he does show up. Moving on to the final race we're going to preview on day one. We're going to have a look at the National Hunt Novices Chase, and currently with BetMGM, thanks for sponsoring, Embassy Gardens is your 2-1 favourite, Corbett's Cross is 11-4, Salvador Ziggy 5-1, Meeting of the Waters 8-1, Nick Rocket 8-1, Three Car Bragg 8-1, Broadway Boy 10-1, Florin Porter 10-1, and 12-1 Bar. David Mullins, I think Corbett's Cross is the absolute good thing of the meeting. I think even at 11-4, as he is now after being really well backed in the last couple of days, is a big price. I think he's different class to these. Wouldn't shock me if he was to show up in a Gold Cup next year, and I think he'll win. Tell me I'm wrong.
I can't tell you you're wrong. I think he wins, yeah.
You think he wins as well?
I think he wins, yeah.
Yeah. Anything further, Tad?
Some Embassy Gardens is going to go to this as well. So
That's Emmett Mullins interfering with the microphones, just so we don't say too much.
I presume Embassy Gardens is going to run this race, which leaves Nick Rocket not Tad. I thought Townend possibly could have done a bit more on him the last day and made more use of him. He lost a lot of ground turning in, but it looks like he's not going to run here. Or if he does, Patrick's going to ride Embassy Gardens. So Nick Rocket each way if he ran, but I don't think he's going to run.
But you're Corbett's Cross.
100%.
100% Corbett's Cross, so that's 100% plus 100%. It's 200% so far on Corbett's Cross. Are you going to burst our bubble, Mikey Fogarty?
I did. Well, I'm going downstairs. I was a bit like, but I'm siding with you now a little bit. I've just.
No, we've convinced you.
You convinced me a little bit. So yeah, it's a time. I don't know. Like really, I'm going with the horse that maybe they thought he was last year. Just this year, I suppose it's fine. I'm finding it hard to say he'll definitely win, but I'm going to go with the trainer and the owner and who Derek will probably ride him, won't he?
Yep.
Yeah. So look at that. I'm going to go Corbett's Cross.
Corbett's Cross. So we have 3 votes for Corbett's Cross. We're going well. Donn McClean, you are not a fan of Corbett's Cross.
No,
You're not a fan of running over this trip.
I'm not a fan of Corbett's Cross. Like the beginner's chase that he won, it was probably the hottest beginner's chase run this year when he beat 3-Card Bragg and Monty Starr and Nick Rocket. Like that was a hell of a beginner's chase and he won it well. Just in the back of my mind always is the Albert Bartlett hurdle last year when he went down to the last. It looked like he was going to win it on the run to the last.
You didn't get any further.
No, I know, but if you about 50 yards before the last, he's just not getting any closer to Stay Away Faye, and that was 3 miles. I mean, I know it'll go at different pace over 3 miles 6. Like the Albert Bartlett is a real grueler. You really have to stay to win that, and this is 3 miles 6. They won't. Well, maybe they will go faster, but like it's a stairs race.
They won't. I'm telling you. I've seen this race last couple of years.
And he might outclass them. No, I'm with that. But look, Embassy Gardens was good the last day. I like Flooring Porter. I'd be interested to hear what Keith has to say about Flooring Porter. I know he's got the option of the Stairs Hurdle as well, and but I just think like he's 150 odd rated chaser, which is lower than his hurdles mark. He's a dual Stairs Hurdle winner. He was very good there in October under Keith. His jumping was superb, and his last 2 runs, there are excuses for both. One was going right-handed. He doesn't go right-handed, and he was annoyed by a loose horse. And then the last day, he was jumping to his left, probably onto the worst of the ground at Leopardstown in the Neville Hotels race. So I just think like his jumping is very, very good. His jumping at Cheltenham over those fences was good. I think the step up to 3 miles and 6 will suit him. I can just see him getting into rhythm out in front and running a big race if he goes here.
Okay, so Keith Donoghue, Donn fancies Flooring Porter to potentially win a National Hunt Chase. You're too good to be an amateur now, so you can't ride in the race. Where do you think Flooring Porter is going to run, or can you tell us?
Not much good to me if he runs here anyway. So
No, he's useless to you here. Who will ride him if he runs here?
Barry O'Neill.
Oh, so there's somebody booked already.
Oh. Yeah, but he was booked a long time ago before the Stairs Hurdle came into the.
Okay. And I presume you would ride if he runs in the Stairs Hurdle?
I presume so. Yeah.
Yeah. So make your case for him not running the National Hunt Chase.
No, Don wants a case for him how he can win it.
Yeah. Do you think he could win this race?
I think he'll be placed. I don't think he'll win the race. Look at the trip will definitely suit him. Over that trip though, he would want to get an easy lead. He wouldn't want to do too much. He could burn himself out. He was behind Corbett's Cross the last day. Can I see him getting by Corbett's Cross? I don't think I can. And then you put Embassy Gardens into the mix as well. I just don't. I think they're up and coming horses. They're on the up, and I think they're just a bit classier than him.
Very well argued, Keith. It's the Stairs Hurdle for Flooring Porter. What do you think is going to win if Flooring Porter doesn't run?
I'm all over Embassy Gardens in this. I think he's very good. Now look at.
I'm worried now because you're a good judge.
I'm a little bit. When Don was saying about Corbett's Cross was coming to the last and wasn't getting by Stay Away Faye, well, Embassy Gardens was probably 2 furlongs behind him last year in the Albert Bartlett. So obviously you have to keep that in the back of your mind. Did he boil over and run too keen last year? He looks like he's settled a lot better this year. He's a very good jumper. I was just impressed by him in Nice. He just turned into the straight. He just took off, and just like effortless to him. And I just think
you were on Let's Be Clear about it that day.
Yeah, and he just seemed a very good horse, and I think he could be the one that could be running a Gold Cup next year.
Oh, there we go. Embassy Gardens 2-1 favourite currently with BetMGM. And I know from speaking to you beforehand, you're also a fan of Embassy Gardens, Diarmuid Nolan.
Yeah, it just kind of strikes me as Statler, who also kind of blew up in Albert Bartlett and then kind of calmed himself down over fences. That's what I think Embassy Gardens. I love what he did against Sander Clegane as well, who's a very decent horse. He buried him that day. I just think that he's 2-1. I do agree with Don. There was a nagging doubt in my head about Corbett's Cross over an extreme trip. Now I know they'll trap around for half of it, but still. And anyway, I do think Embassy Gardens is just a very good horse. Any other yard, he'd be in the Brown Advisory now as one of the really hot horses here. Obviously, they have Fact the File there, so that's why he's here. I just think he's the best horse in the race, yeah. Okay,
so your National Hunt Chase winner is Embassy Gardens for you, Embassy Gardens for Keith Donoghue. It's Corbett's Cross for David Mullins. We've convinced Mikey that Corbett's Cross is going to win as well. And Donn McClean is with Flooring Porter if he runs, and if he doesn't, Don, who wins?
Oh.
You don't have to put too much thought into it.
Just Don, he doesn't run, yeah.
Sorry, I asked now.
No, yeah, probably Embassy Gardens. Yeah, probably Embassy.
We twisted your arm. Okay, that is your 2024 National Hunt Novices Chase. We're waiting until the end for the handicaps. That's right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I think Broadway Boy could be a good each-way bet in this race as well if he runs here.
All right, okay.
Nigel Twiston Davis, he was second behind Flo and Porter in the October meeting, and they've ran the shit out of him since. I don't know why, they just kept running him every week. Like, and if he hasn't ran now in about 5 weeks, so he might have had time to freshen up a bit. And he's not a bad horse on his day.
Okay, that's Broadway Boy currently at
See, obviously, what amateur they get, they'll probably be getting an English amateur if he runs here, so that'd be...
Doesn't run it on, Hank.
Just that, after all that.
doesn't run.
He's running one of the grade ones. That's what Willie Twiston Davis said last Thursday in Cheltenham.
Brown Advisor, they were looking at.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's like...
They have him in the wrong race.
But saying that though, when you look at the exchanges or anything though, he's way shorter for this than he is still for the Brown Advisor. It might just be that they obviously they kind of think he's no chance in the Brown Advisor. But still, it is interesting that he hasn't. You think he'd be drifted away out now if he wasn't going here. So
Yeah, he definitely has a chance here.
Okay, that is your National Hunt Novice Chase. We're going to talk about the mayor's races later on in the show, so don't be worried. We haven't forgotten about them. We'll talk about the mayor's race. We're going to talk about Lassie Mate later on, but we're going to move swiftly on to Wednesday, and the opening race on Wednesday is now called the Baring Bingham Novices Hurdle, formerly known as the Ballymore. And Ballyburn is your 11 to 10 favourite, so slightly shorter with BetMGM for the Baring Bingham compared to the Supreme at 11 to 10. Mystical Power, who's also in the Supreme, is 4 to 1. Slade Steel, who's also in the Supreme, is 4 to 1. Il Atlantique is 11 to 2. Reed and Tommy Wrong is 7 to 1. Gidley Park 11 to 1. Billericay Dickey is 12 to 1. Handstands 12 to 1. And 14 to 1 Bar. Right, this is the last time we're going to talk about Ballyburn tonight, okay? So, we don't know where he's going to run. If he runs here, Diarmuid Nolan, does he win?
he wins easy.
Okay, he wins easily here. If he doesn't run, what wins?
I would really like Il Atlantique. I don't think he's as soft, and I know that sounds mad because he's been in 3 battles and seen off 3 times. But I think I agree with what kind of Willie was saying to you in a stable tour that
Yeah, he wasn't happy.
no, and that they keep going from the front with him. The 3 times that he's been beaten now, he's been leading from the front. He strikes me as one of those horses that has one kind of sprint in him, and I just think going from the front is using that up.
When I asked him, I said, Il Atlantique has been beaten at very, very short prices in running. He's been beaten in a few tight finishes. Has he got a soft centre? Which I thought was a very valid question. Willie wasn't happy.
No.
Willie
you read
wasn't
that
happy.
reply.
He said, no, I think that's really harsh. And then he went on to say, I actually think that's really, really harsh. So Willie doesn't agree. He thinks he doesn't have a soft centre. Neither do you, by the sense.
I think if they do flip the kind of riding style on him, much be for me now to be trying to tell Paul Town and Patrick Mullins how to ride him. But
You're going to anyway.
I think going from the front just doesn't suit him. I thought that it was completely set up for reading Tommy wrong. But Little Antique, I just think if you ride him differently from the back with one run, I think you'd see a different horse. And I do think that as much as the whole conversations about Ballyburn, Mystical Power and Tully Hill, reading between the lines with Willie and the way that he talks about this horse, I think this horse is in that discussion as well.
Okay, that's Il Atlantique, 11 to 2 for Diarmuid Nolan from the Racehour podcast. Keith Donoghue, you think Ballyburn is going to run the Supreme and you think he's going to win the Supreme, so forget about Ballyburn. He's gone. He's not in the Baring Bingham. What wins the first race on Wednesday?
Slade Steel.
You answered that very confidently.
Yeah,
Like there was not even a doubt in your mind there.
I think he's a very good horse. I know they ran him over 2 mile the last day. It's obviously the wrong trip, but I know Henry didn't want to run him in the 2.6. You know, obviously going to Cheltenham thinking of the next day. So he finished 7 lengths behind Ballyburn, and I've always liked the horse. I just think he's a very good horse, and I think he'll win this race. And if Ballyburn runs in it, there won't be 7 lengths between them.
Oh, you think he'll even get closer to him
Yeah.
if they run against each other?
Yeah,
Do you think 4 to 1 is decent value?
I do. Yeah, I think it's a very good price.
Okay. There you go. That is Slade Steel. Keith is very confident of a big run in the Baring Bingham at 4 to 1. David, what are your thoughts on the Baring Bingham?
I think Ballyburn runs here. Yep.
And he'll win.
Yep. Staffordshire not. When he went through the sales ring, I think he's a proper horse. He went through the sales ring, and you'd just wonder when Caldwell pulled the plug, you'd wonder was he doing much. till he went through the sales ring.
I'd say Gordon knew he was keeping him. He wouldn't have used that.
Did you
What are you
see
trying
the
to
race
say?
last
I
week?
was wondering, did he do much?
later in Cheltenham? No.
No, he got beat the other day in Thurles.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, was he?
Run him in Cheltenham, is he? After him last week? Yeah, I'd say
Why not?
nonsense.
So anyway,
520 grand for a horse, you can't run him in Cheltenham.
It's in about
Money
12
not well
days.
spent.
I wouldn't say he's good enough.
so hold on a second. I'm a bit lost here. Is anybody else lost? Okay.
I am too.
Okay, we're a bit confused.
Mikey'd rather win a pint in Boris the following week or something.
So David, what were you bringing up Staffordshire Lock because you thought if he did run here, he could actually run well?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
he's a very good horse, but
Okay.
I'm wondering, did he get beat the last day?
What did you make of that run last week?
He looked very green. He looked like he didn't know his job, and possibly I thought maybe for the 2 weeks before the Caldwell sale, was he doing much at home?
Okay, interesting. So
Walker.
even
Getting through the vets.
They were riding out anyway.
Yeah.
even David, even if he doesn't show up in the Bearing Bingham Staffordshire Knock, who cost 510 grand at the dispersal sale, do you think he will turn out to be a good horse?
Yeah.
Yeah, keep the faith. Okay, Staffordshire Knot. Put him in your notebook. Maybe not for Cheltenham, but David thinks he will turn out to be decent. Mikey Fogarty. I can't remember where you said you thought Ballyburn had run. I don't think you were sure. But what are you making of the Bearing Bingham if he doesn't show up here?
I don't know. Sure, it's very open. We don't know what's running. But Mystical Power, there's hardly any chance he'll run here, will he?
Well, I don't know. They've obviously got Jericho the Repine for the Supreme.
I just wonder if this turn, if Ballyburn goes Supreme, like Mystical Power could slot in here now. I don't know if he's good enough to win it now, but I like Predator's Gold though. Like I think he's fair, solid yardstick at 12-1. Like.
And there's been a lot of support for that horse in the last 48 hours. You think he's a...
Yeah, he's as solid as you get. I'm surprised he's 12-1. That has me a little bit a little bit.
Were you not disappointed with him at the Dublin Racing Festival?
No, I thought he ran into the best novice of the year that day. Look, I know it's a pity he's not running. I just thought he was. I thought he was a machine. Like I love seeing horses pulling up that day, and I thought he was great value even at 740. You know, fair play to Nichols and Ferguson and the boys.
What about the next day when he got beat out behind Dancing City?
Yeah, that's what I'm on about. Against Dancing
City.
City at the Dublin Racing Festival.
He's no aeroplane.
No, he ran a bit keen.
Oh.
He ran a bit keen that day, and
Dancing City.
he had
the best novice horse.
a hard race against Caldwell Potter, who I think is the best novice in Ireland this year. I think he give it.
Hold on, whoa.
What are you looking at?
You think Caldwell Potter is better than Ballyburn?
Oh yeah, on heavy ground, yeah. I could be wrong now, Dave, about that. I just people want to hear sort of.
Don't be silly, Mike. You're never wrong.
Well, look at. Are you trying to say that wasn't a good novice race then at Christmas?
No, I do. I think he's a very good horse, but I think to say that he's definitely the best novice hurdler in Ireland this season is a big statement.
He was that day at Christmas anyway.
Okay.
Look at. I don't. But yeah. Where were we anyway? Predator's Gold for me.
Predator's Gold.
Each way. Yeah.
Predator's Gold for the reunited relationship of Gigginstown and Willie Mullins at 12-1 for Mikey Fogarty. He has a chance. I think you're right. I think he has a chance. Donn McClean, what have you plucked for us in the Bearing Bingham?
I agree with Predator's Goal. I think the shorter trip will suit him. He was keen the last in the Nathaniel Lacey race, but I like Side Steel, like Keith. I think he's an improving horse. His run over 2 miles in the early part of the year, he looked like a stayer that day. Then he stepped up to 2.5 and won the Navan Novices Hurdle, won it well. And then if there'd been a 2.5 mile race at the Dublin Racing Festival, or even a 2.25 mile race as they used to be, he probably would have run in that. And he ran over 2 miles, not over 2 miles 6. He didn't want to be going out to that type of trip, obviously. And he ran well, I thought, to finish second behind Ballyburn. Think the step up and trip will suit him. Whether or not Ballyburn go, like Ballyburn's very short for this now, even if he does go here. And I think Slade Steel is still a wee bit overpriced.
Okay, that's interesting then. Slade Steel at 4-1 could go off a good deal shorter if Ballyburn doesn't go for the Bearing Bingham, but Diarmuid is quite sweet on Il Atlantique. And a shout out to Predator's Gold from Mikey Fogarty as well. That is the Bearing Bingham Novice Hurdle. Moving swiftly on, 40 minutes later, 2:10 on Wednesday is the Brown Advisory Novices Chase. And Factifile, who Willie Mullins said at the weekend definitely runs here, is currently our 4-5 favourite. Stay Away Faye, who was beaten by Capadano in the Cotswold Chase, is 3-1. Monty Star is 11-2. Grey Dawning is 11-2. Embassy Gardens is 10-1, and it's 16-1 bar. And there's only one place to start here. As regular listeners of the Race Hour podcast will know, Diarmuid Nolan is a massive, massive fan of Monty Star. So don't let the heart rule the head, okay? We only want to know what the head says. You're on at massive prices, and fair play to you. You spotted this talent very early in life with Monty Star. Even last season, you were pretty keen on him. Can Monty Star beat Factifile?
Yes.
Why?
Because I think there's an awful lot of unknowns yet with Factifile. Factifile has been absolutely superb twice, but he's effectively run in 2 time trials. He beat Zanahiyr the last day. I know Zanahiyr's won afterwards, but God, he wouldn't be at this level as over fences. And the last time he beat Gaelic Warrior, who jumped right the whole way and basically threw a strop as soon as he lost the lead. I know his time was fantastic, but I just don't believe times all the time. I think this has happened a few times where horses have come out and done unbelievable times. We don't know how this horse is in the battle. I think he'll stay, but we don't properly know that yet. There's an awful lot of questions about Factifile yet that we just haven't got answered. Last season, he also went a bit wayward. Like when you watch back the actual bumper last year, I'm not sure how much he adored Cheltenham either. I mean, he kind of went a bit... he veered right or left, whichever direction he went in there, but he went the wrong way when he was going up the... up the straight. He's crazy talented. The fact that Willie talks about him so reverently can only get you excited about him, obviously. But
why do you love
4 to
Monty's
5.
Pass so much? So Monty's Pass,
Monty's Pass, one of the, you know,
Monty's Pass, yeah,
he
Monty's
might find
Pass
it
won
hard
the
to win
Grand
a national
National.
or
I know
to-
that
to
Monty's
win a
Pass won the
Brown
Grand National. You love Monty's Pass well, but Monty Star, the new Monty's Pass, and Monty Star. Why do you love Monty Star so much? So Monty Star was beaten, I thought, fair and square by Corbus Cross by 3-car Bragg in a beginner's chase at Fairy House. He beat, by all accounts from listening to those in the stable, an understrand 3-car Bragg at Punchestown on New Year's Eve. What makes you think that Monty Star can step up significantly from a beginner's chase at Punchestown to win a Brown Advisory?
because he's trained by Henry de Bromhead, who trains all of his horses like this. I mean, the year that Indo was second, in this Manila Indo was second in this very race, the champ arguably should have won, really. It was a freak race. He lost to Lorena, I think, over fences that season, and then only beat Captain CJ by a length and a quarter before going on. And they were his only two starts that season over fences. Now, I know he won the Albert Bartlett. I know. He won the Albert Bartlett the previous season. But Monty Star went out, was brilliant at Clonmel last year. Henry Bromhead has said since several times he's a big backward type, and he thinks that he ran too soon because the front three that they all bombed out that day at Cheltenham. He backed off him, came out first time this season, 2 miles 5 and a bit, was just simply too short for him. I still think he ran a screamer that day behind Corbett's Cross. And then last time, regardless of the horse in second being unwell, he still jumped brilliantly. He jumped absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And Henry de Bromhead, what people keep forgetting about him is that his horses don't just go to Cheltenham in good form. They consistently, year after year, run career bests there. And at the moment, again, we're looking at the last 2 weeks, his horses are peaking again. This is just what Henry does every single season. And you're looking on again. And like even last year, Captain Guinness ran a career best basically in
That's right.
the Champion Chase.
Remember laughing at Jamie Benson
We were
when he put him up?
here
And he
last
ran an
year.
absolute corker.
Every single horse that Henry has basically, he targets them at this festival and they run absolute career best. I think he has a ceiling of ability that is quite high. Factify, we don't know about him. Stay Away Faye, I think the old course, I think that's why he ran the last day. They were tying with the Gold Cup because I don't think the old course will suit him. I think he jumps a bit slow and he's a bit slow. Grey Dawning loves taking a fence home with him. American Mike might run.
Bit harsh.
They were saying, what?
Bit harsh on Grey Dawning.
But he's a very good horse, but he absolutely clatters one every run.
Yeah, he'll run into Turners anyway.
So I think Monty Star is, I really like him. But again, look, I'm on a 50, so I'm definitely swayed by that.
Okay, well, brilliantly put case, I have to say. The very best of luck with Monty Star. I'll be cheering him on for you. Donn McClean, follow that. Like he is really sweet. He's made a serious case for Monty Star. Is he good enough?
Yeah, I think he could be, yeah. I do like Monty Star. He's nothing to add to what we just said, but he's a half-brother to Manolly as well, who finished second in a Brown Advisory. Thought that the run against 3-card Bragg, his jumping was just so good. Like, Rachel was able to just allow him fill himself up after every fence. I know 3-card Bragg didn't jump well. You know, like there was they both went in opposite directions. but it was still a really good run. And okay, it was pulled up in the Albert Bartlett last year. Diarmuid explained that it was only a month after the Clonmel race, and Black Lion and Boston's Angel both pulled up in an Albert Bartlett before coming on to win this race. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. The fact that he was considered good enough to be an Albert Bartlett type of horse, that's significant for me. And look, it's a very good race. If American Mike was supplemented to this, that he would be very interesting. If he isn't, he'd be interesting for the Irish National. But I thought the step up and trip to 3 miles the last day brought about improvement in him, and that just could be key to him now. 3 miles and fences. I know he disappointed at Limerick, but it was very, very soft ground at Limerick. And yeah, Broadway Boy looks like he wasn't right the last day in the Hampton Chase. He was very good in winning that handicap chase the time before, and that race has worked out well. And he made a really bad mistake at the top of the hill, so he's an interesting outsider in the race. But no, I'm a Monty Star fan as well.
Okay, so we've 2 votes for Monty Star, currently 11-2 with BetMGM. Keith Donoghue, it tends to throw up a really top horse to bread advisory. Are you a big Fact to File fan?
Yes, look, he took very good. Obviously you can knock the race the last day, but to watch it on your eye, it looked very good. I thought they were going a good gallop. He's a very solid horse, very good jumper. I think he's the best horse in the race, and I think he'll win. But after sitting beside Dermot for 2 or 3 minutes there, he has me. I wish I backed Multi-Star at 50-1.
Yeah, he's convincing, isn't he?
Yeah, and he has every right to too. Obviously, he did jump well the last day, but that you can take a little bit from that when your man with 3-card Bragg was jumping so slow. It can be a little bit like that, but
Make it look better, right?
Yeah, but look, you can't knock. He is a very solid horse and a good jumper. But I think Fact to File is the horse they'll have to beat.
Mikey Fogarty, you were actually one of the. Are you tired?
No.
All right, seeing you wiping your eyes there. We've a bit to go yet now. We're only on the Brown advisory.
Yeah. I get a coffee at breakfast or lunchtime. There.
We'll order. Can we get Mikey a coffee? Can we get Mikey a nice strong one?
Flat white.
An extra shot. An extra
Flat
shot.
white, please.
Oh, flat white. Flat
Please,
white.
John. Yeah,
Flat
thank
white.
you.
Anybody else want coffees?
I get it at half time.
Okay,
Yeah,
half time.
half
He's
time.
anyway.
And Jaffa cake.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
Half time.
And just take the blue ones out of the M&Ms as well. And bring them over. Yeah. Fact to File. You're one of the founding members of the fan club.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about this horse when nobody really even knew his name. You've loved him from day one.
Yeah, I rode him a few times last year, and I loved him. I knew he'd run well in the bumper, and then he's kind of a faster version of Don Poley. And look, I just hope he doesn't run too keen in this. But he's a lovely horse, and I suppose better ground will suit him to settle. If the ground is soft, like you just hope. He ran a bit keen the last day in Leopardstown. I'm just trying to think of ways he could bet, but it's a good competitive race. Diarmuid is spot. I agree with what a lot of Diarmuid said, and I like Stay Away Faye too. So it's just at 4-5 that the horse is bolted. You know.
Yeah. Tell the crowd here, viewers at home, what you told us downstairs. Your biggest worry. You told me. Can you remember? No.
Oh.
Mikey's biggest worry.
Oh, there's too much hype.
There's too much hype.
Sorry, yeah, that was
He
it.
can't win. There's too much hype about him.
Yeah.
There's too many people talking about him, and he can't possibly win because he's been topped up so much.
Yeah, and fair play to JP and Willie for running him in this, because like this is one of the best novices of the week, and if you ran in the Turners, it wouldn't be great, like, you know. So
he'd be too
well. There's not like in the Turners, you've Ginny's Destiny and Gaelic Water, you know, it just doesn't have the same class to it, you know. So they could have went for a bit more of an easier one, but they went to this one, so it's great.
So barring bad luck and the fact that he's been hyped, you'll be disappointed if Fact to File doesn't win.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, but it's a competitive race. I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to be the Diarmuid's horse has a chance, Nichol's horse has a chance, and yeah.
So he's trying to diffuse the hype.
No. Look, he's a machine.
Jockey on him there, but can I get on him?
Yeah, I'm just saying that.
Okay.
Like, lovely horse.
Lovely horse. Fact to File. David, are you tend to kind of disagree with Mikey? Are you in agreement with Fact to File?
That's a Mullins thing, though. So I was like, she said, "Oh no, he's a good fast horse." No, he's not that fast.
What horse did you argue about the height?
There's a row, like it happens with all of them.
Who did you argue about the height of the
Emma's
horse
the
again?
worst.
Yeah, he won that as well. He was measured and he was.
Who was it?
60.
Who
It wasn't. There was no one there.
No,
with
but
the
who was the
rest.
horse?
Got
Give him a chance. He's not.
Well,
Like,
hold on.
He still doesn't believe me.
What happened there?
he went to ask me for that money on
Was it 2 years
Sunday.
ago? Was it about the height
Oh,
of
sorry.
Galloping the Shop? Remember, yeah.
Yeah, just to clarify for those of you that are lost, they had a row over Galloping the Shops. You said he was a big horse. You said he wasn't a big horse. Was that it?
I said he was a big horse. He's
Yeah.
16'3". And he was measured by your man that rides him out every day.
No.
David messaged me 2 weeks
And
later with the.
I wasn't there for the measuring.
We had. That's, yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, well, you're wrong anyway. So, well, I know I never
I don't
get
want
that
to be
20
dragging down this Cheltenham preview. So go on.
We won't tell him what we had the money on the other day either.
Go on, tell us more.
Go on, Mike. You lost that bet now. I won't take the money off you.
What did you just have a bet on the other day?
Outside the petrol station.
Oh yeah. No, I can't say.
I can't tell he's going.
We were saying no, it's not her. It is her. It's not her, and it was her, and that was it. There's nothing to it.
Well, I think you'll all agree. The obvious next question is who was she?
Some girl in Kilkenny. If she,
Back to fight.
she's watching this.
Oh no, she definitely is.
So it was her. It was
Yeah.
her. Okay, who won the bet?
was 100 quid.
honeysuckle job.
Go on.
It was 100 quid when we started the bet, right? And then when
Right.
Mikey lost the bet, no lad, that was 20.
Think of brighter days ahead. Honeysuckle sort of.
Oh, any
Any powered.
Roll into one. Margot Robbie.
You could put an Abel in there as well. Just
And for anybody that's in the crowd, we'll be showing pictures at the interval of this famous girl. Back to Factifile. Back to Factifile. Let's bring some order to this fiasco. David Mullins, Factifile. Get your head out of the gutter now.
Yeah, no, fact of fight, I think he wins, yeah. Stay away Faye, just too much behind the bridle for me. He doesn't have enough class in my opinion. Monty Star's very good horse, but I can't see him beating Factifile. Grey Dawning, solid Grand National type of a horse. Not going to beat Factifile.
Okay, and if we're in the same place next year, and that girl is single, and I'm only joking. If we're in the same place next year,
It was Mikey that was in.
it was Mikey that was interested. If
Sorry, you have a girlfriend.
I'm from Wexford. He lives in Kilkenny, like never on to do with me.
the two boys are taken, they're a bit worried now that the other halves might be watching. David, if we're here next year and we're talking about the 2025 Gold Cup, please God we're all alive, do you think Factifile will be a leading fancy for next year's Gold Cup in 12 months' time?
Yeah, he'll be under 4-1 next year for the Gold Cup if he has 4 legs.
Okay, there you go. He could be favoured for next year's Gold Cup, or certainly a leading fancy. That is Factifile, and we'll all wish Diarmuid good luck with his 50-1 voucher on Monty Star in the Brown Advisory Novice Chase. Good luck, Diarmuid. Moving on to the feature race on Wednesday, 3:30. It is the Champion Chase, and El Fabiolo. He has been flawless over fences. He's 2-5. John Bond is 130 after being beaten at Cheltenham on his most recent appearance. The rejuvenated Edward Stone, fresh from his game spirit success at Newbury, is 15-2. Fernie Hollow, who was so classy last weekend, is 9-1. Looks like he mightn't run. Captain Guinness, last year's run-up, is 20-1. Elixir the Nuts, 20-1. Boot Hill, 40-1. Editor the Cheat, 40-1. And it is also 40-1 bar non-runner, no bet. Right, back to you, Mikey. El Fabiolo, how is he? How is he working? How is he looking? Will he win?
Oh, great. All the greats, but I'm going to go, just because they're not all going to win, I'm going to go with Alan King's horse to bounce out, make the running, and just turn in and win.
But do you actually think that's going to happen?
I can see it happening, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I can. After the last day, I can. Yeah. Like, your man is 2-5. You know, that's very short. He's a very good horse, but it's Champion Chase, and it's a funny race. So I'm going to go with Edward Stone. Tom can, as long as he doesn't try drop him in again. He has to let on to the lads in the weigh room and tell them, oh no, the boys want me to drop him in, and then get 6 out the gate and just go as hard as you can. Yeah, he's the quickest jumper in the race, so he might make a half a length at 8 fences, 2 mile chase. So there's 8 or 9 lengths, and If your man ramps one,
Good to see Mikey's a match genius as well. 8 fences, half a length. That's 8 or 9 lengths.
I was being. He'll make a length to the fence. He'll make a length if he jumps the way he did the last day. He will make a length at 3 or 4 fences over John Bond.
Okay.
Do you not agree with me?
I do, but I just don't think it's 8 or 9 lengths. Just
Is it
by
not?
your mathematical equation.
It's about 12 fences for 2 miles as well.
12 fences.
Yeah. 8 hurdles.
Oh, 8 hurdles. Sorry, yeah, 12 fences. Yeah.
12 fences. A length at every fence.
15
That's
to
6 lengths.
I'm going to go with Edward Stone. Yeah. For me.
Okay, Edward Stone for Mikey. Kind of a strange theory on why he's going to win, but anyway, he thinks he's the best jumper. 15-2 currently with BetMGM. Don, El Fabiolo is going to be on so many people's multiples for the week. Has people got him in multiples already?
Yeah.
El Fabiolo, there's a lot of nodding going on in the audience here. He's the one that most people think they can rely on. He's the one that you're kind of going, I've won up already in that lucky 15 or lucky 31. Is it that easy?
Look, I think so, yeah. It's very hard to find a case against him. I was with Mikey a bit on Edwardstone. I was trying to construct that case, and he was.
I hope you constructed a bit better than Mikey.
No, look, it's a fair case. Like he was very good at Newbury, and it's a new dimension to him now, out in front and zinging. And the Alan King horses don't tend to do that, so it was good they tried it. He was very impressive. I'd just be worried if Gentleman de May is in it, Editor de Gide.
I forgot about them.
No,
you're right.
Elixir de Nuts. If they all run, it could be a burn.
He came with notes, Dave. You know what I mean? So, that's why he's here.
No, but you're right. There's a case to be made for Edwardstone for sure. Yeah. But I just think it's definitely not going to be as easy for him as it was the last day. And if he's dropped in, you'd hope they ride him prominently anyway, even if he doesn't have to lead. But I just, it's going to suit El Fabiolo as well, and John Bond if they're going fast up front. El Fabiolo, I know he clouts an odd fence, but it doesn't seem to faze him. He just carries on as if he didn't. And he's just, I think he's further ahead of John Bond than he was last year. Okay, John Bond beat him over hurdles at Aintree as a novice, but El Fabiolo was inexperienced that day. He beat him really impressively in the Arkle last year. I think the gap between them has widened. John Bond wasn't good. Did well to stand up after that in the second to fourth last, and probably should have won as well after that. But I don't think he's gone forward to the degree to which El Fabiolo has. He's unbeaten over fences, and he never looks like falling. That's what you're clinging to because he makes a mistake. And he's got Cheltenham form, and I just think it's a no bet race for me. But just watch El Fabiolo.
Well, I was going to say you're not an odds-on man.
No, I know.
Never have, never will be. But if you were. Is 2 to 5 actually not bad value?
Yeah, you can probably get a wee bit better than that if you shop around on
Here we go.
Don, I got given out for this.
We can guarantee they won't be sponsoring the show next year anyway.
Jesus Christ.
But
bet Wim next year.
the best odds-on shot, as in the best odds-on odds that you can get. Yeah, you can argue that it's value.
Okay. After learning that Elixir de Nuts is in the race.
Yeah.
And Editor de Gide and Gentleman de Me potentially. Do you want to have another go?
It looks sure. El Fabiolo will probably win it. Yeah.
Are the lads right? Donn McClean thinks this is probably bulletproof El Fabiolo, David?
Move on, yep.
Yeah. Okay. Short and snappy. Keith?
Yeah, same thing. I think it'll be a good 2-run race, and El Fabiolo is the best horse, and when it's a 2-run race, the best horse normally wins.
Okay,
I agree with Don about his jumping, and he'll get away with it a lot more in England, like he's getting around Leopardstown, so he'll be able to walk through them in Cheltenham.
Yeah, this is the thing. I want to ask you about this, and you can all contribute here. I do find it remarkable, and there'll be people in the audience here, and there'll be people watching at home, and they'll say, "What is he on about?" But from talking to jockeys, it sounds as like the easiest jumping test in Ireland or England is at Cheltenham.
Well, no, I wouldn't say Cheltenham, but just the English style fences are smaller than Ireland.
Okay.
And they're a lot softer than Ireland.
So you can kind of brush through them, okay?
Yeah, it's a different apron on them, and you can just get away with more in England. But Cheltenham is a tricky enough track. You have a lot of undulations, and but it's just the fences are smaller.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting that the fences are smaller in England than they are in Ireland. You're after getting Factifile beaten. Are you going to get El Fabiolo beaten?
No, he wins. Yeah, no. Easy.
Wins?
Yeah. Simple.
Wins. Any John Bond fans in the audience? Would be scared to put your hand up there. Not one person fancies John Bond. Nobody. No John Bond fans in the audience. Maybe you at home are John Bon fan, but we have no love for John Bon here on the panel tonight. That is your champion chase, 2-5 El Fabiolo. Donn McClean thinks it mightn't even be bad value. Moving on to the Weatherby's champion bumper. It's the nightcap on Wednesday. And Jasmine DeVoe is currently your 5-1 joint favourite, along with Maureen. T-Shan for Paul Nichols is 7-1. Jalan Dadari is 8-1. Romeo Coolio 9-1. The Yellow Clay 9-1. You ought to know 9-1. And 14-1 Bar. Right, Mikey Fogarty, right? This is why you're paid the big bucks to be here tonight, okay? It's because you ride out in Willie Mullins'. You talk to the lads. Everybody loves Mikey Fogarty. They're going to tell you everything. They know that you're a nice lad. They're going to speak to you. What can you tell us about Jasmine DeVoe, Maureen, maybe a few others from the Willie Mullins stable? I think he has 14 entries in the race. You ought to know is another one there that's in the betting at 9-1. Have you any inside info? We'll tell nobody. Don't tell anybody, okay? Shh. Don't tell anybody. If you're at home, don't tell anybody. Mikey Fogarty, who is the best bumper horse in Clydesdale? Don't let me down.
We wouldn't be talking about that for a start. Do you know what I mean?
You're talking about women coming out of shops.
Anything, you know. But yeah, no, it's just look at there's a lot of other things to talk about. But the champion bumper, I don't know, like really, I don't.
Do you ride any of these?
I didn't ride it, but I might ride beside him. I just think it's an open year, and I just don't know if Willie's bunch like there's not like last year, you know. Well, although
he didn't win it last year.
No, that's true. But look,
how good is Maureen, the horse now?
You'd be going on just I never rode her or seen her work, so I'm just going on the way she ran that day in Punchestown. But she could be anything.
How good is Jasmine DeVoe?
I wasn't beside him either, but I just saw him and he looks good. I like Jalan Dudari's and I like Gordon's couple this year for some reason, but that's just, I don't know, that's pot luck really.
So you've no real info on the Willies?
No, unfortunately not. No, I never rode too much beside him or anything like that. Or just those three really, and I don't know if there was a standout performance for me. I met Gordon at Leopardstown one night over Christmas, and he told me he liked Romeo Coolio, and I just don't know, was he really right today? He won.
Well, he wasn't, because he had a setback. He reckons he's about 75% when he won it.
Yeah.
Fairyhouse, yeah.
So
are you siding with him?
I would, yeah. I just the Leopardstown horse, he got an injury as well, so I don't know. Don't know about that form either really. So I'm all over the place with the champion bumper. For me, it's Romeo Coolio, purely on he still won. He mightn't have been his best, and apparently he was working the house down up in Gardens before that.
He was.
Yep.
He was. He works brilliantly, Romeo Coolio.
5% fit.
Yeah, that day. Well, he had a setback, he was rushing to get him to that race. He wanted to get a run into him. David Mullins, the last time I checked, your surname was Mullins, so you're in the inner circle. You talk to Patrick every day of the week, I presume, or certainly every other day. Who do you think Patrick Mullins will ride in the champion bumper?
I think I met him at Granny's funeral. We definitely don't talk every day, but I think T-Shan is probably the best bet. I don't know what Patrick's going to ride. Maureen 11 stone will probably be tight for him, but he'd do it, I suppose. I thought she came up the straight not very fast the last day. Wouldn't be into times. Didn't look impressive to me. Jasmine DeVoe was good, but a lot of horses have looked good in Nace and got beaten in the champion bumper. I've thought before. I remember Patrick rode a grey horse up Jigginstown. There was a few other horses. Or it's for me. Something like that, yeah. There was a few of them that
Lirazur West won at Nace as well, yeah.
Yeah, there was a few of them that just didn't really ever go on too much. I remember seeing T-Shan win this Point to Point. That was freaky stuff now.
And it was kind of freaky at Exeter as well. He was very impressive.
Yeah. So has Paul Nichols ever won the champion bumper before?
No.
Captain T. Gramwell last year, obviously.
I was in Exeter that day. I didn't think he was that impressive.
Did you not?
No.
I thought he won very easy.
When you look back at the Point to Point, I know he won by a mile, but the yoke he beat in second was a donkey.
Okay. So, but before we come to you're with T-Shan, David.
Yeah.
Okay. You're against T-Shan.
I'm against him. Yeah, I couldn't have him at all. And I think this the first year that some of Willie's having just shot clear and been real impressive. Obviously, Jasmine DeVoe done that a little bit in Nace, but you can knock the form of the second horse and I think Gordon Saucedale on the Dories was very good in
I like him as
Leopardstown.
well.
I think it's the most solid form. He beat Redemption Day and a couple of others. He really, big galloper, looks like he's a hardened horse that'll take this race.
He's a lovely head carriage. He
Yeah.
gets down and
I think you have to be a hardened horse to win this race, and I think he's the one. I seen Gordon saying the other day they wouldn't be surprised if Jack rides the Yellow Clay. I'd be very surprised if Jack doesn't ride the Jiggleton.
would you?
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
And have you spoke to him?
No, but I'm just.
But what's that about then? Gordon Fancy and Everton bar the best horse.
Well, he
I
doesn't.
can't understand that.
Playing up to the owners.
Yeah,
Well-
I thought the same myself.
I was in Gordon's on Monday for a media morning, and the way Gordon, they don't know. See, the thing about it is, I don't think they really do know trainers in general. They've had one run, two runs maybe. Gordon made the point that Romeo.
No good judges since myself and Mikey have gone out.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, use are the shrewdest judges. But he did say
Some crack riding out there back in the day.
in Gordon's,
Yeah, that's 10 years ago, yeah.
Good fun.
was it?
School and bumpers going up together.
Yeah.
Gordon did say, to sum up his bumper team, he said there was one horse that was working brilliantly, before Christmas, and then he had a setback. We all sensed that was probably Romeo Coolio. In his stable tour with me back in October, you have to give two for the tracker. One of those was Romeo Coolio. He obviously wasn't overly impressive at Fairy House, but he still got the job done. I think they think he's a better horse than he showed there. With the Yellow Clay, I think the reason he said that about Jack maybe might ride him was because they expected nothing at Leopardstown at the Dublin Racing Festival. He wasn't fully wound up for that at all. He was returning from a break. He was hugely unlucky not to finish second to Paul Byrne's horse. And I think they think there's loads of improvement to come. And then my own fancy in the race is Jalan Didares, who I just think is rock solid. He was very impressive at Fairy House on his debut. He gets his head down. He races. I think he channels his ability in the right way. And if I was Jack, I would ride Jalan Didares, because I think, a bit like you said, Keith, I think he's been there. He's done it. He's beaten Redemption Day. He's won at Christmas at Leopardstown. And I think he's a big player here, Jalan Didares. Diarmuid, what do you like in the Weatherby's Champion bumper? I'm finished rabbiting on now.
Don't get involved at all in it. I'm desperate at it, so I just leave it.
Are you desperate at it?
Desperate at bumpers, yeah, so I just leave them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don, any opinion on the Champion bumper?
No, I think it's a really interesting race. I don't get too deeply involved either. Romeo Coolio, the Pat Fay horse that he beat that day, came out and won since as well, so that's enhanced that form. Jalan Didares was good in beating Redemption Day, and Redemption Day it was obviously a top class bumper horse from a couple of seasons ago and ran really well at the Dublin Racing Festival. The Yellow Clay, I watched that race again this morning, and he was very unlucky. He got chopped at a really crucial part of the race, and like he was beaten. You would have forgiven him if he just stopped from there, but he ran on really well. He was only 3 lengths behind You Ought to Know, and You Ought to Know has been pretty well touted as well, but I think if he'd had a better run through the race, he probably would have beaten You Ought to Know. And Maureen, she was good at Punchestown. She gets the £7 allowance. It'll be interesting if Patrick gets down to 11 stone to ride her. That would obviously be significant. Her dam's a half sister to Faheen, and she's a full sister, I think, to Blow Your Wad, who won at the weekend there. So to me, it's a fascinating race, but I'm finding it hard to form an opinion on what's going to win it.
Okay, but I'm going to get a name out of you all because I'm a bit lost. I kind of started rambling there myself, so I've kind of forgotten what you all tipped. So let's go down the line. Diarmuid, I'm going to force you at the end of that line, so you've about 6 or 7 seconds to think of a name. Don, I'm going to force you first.
Yeah.
If I was to give you a free fiver from BetMGM, who would you put it on?
Maureen.
Maureen. Okay, Maureen, currently 5-1 giant favourite. Mikey Fogarty.
Romeo Coolio.
David Mullins.
T-Shan.
Keith Donoghue.
Jalan the Dories.
Jalon. You're going with Jalon, yeah? You could be right. I presumed it was Jalon, but it could be Jalon.
I wasn't great in school, so we'll go with whatever you say.
Well, you're a good jockey, so you're safe enough. So Jalan Didares, currently an 8-1 shot. I think that's a big price. And Diarmuid, you've had time to think about it now. What have you got for us?
There's no chance that baby Kate runs, is there? For Willie?
Who won in November at...
No, I think she goes to Aintree.
She goes to Aintree. Okay, grand. Then I'll follow Keith. So that's great. Jalan Didares, yeah.
Okay. So 3 votes for Jalan Didares in the Champion bumper. 1 tentative one and 2 other votes at 8-1. Moving on to Thursday, we're getting there. We're going to take a break after we finish Thursday, and we've a big last half of the show, because in the second half of the show we're going to be doing the Triumph, the Albert Bartlett, the Gold Cup, the 3 Mares races, the Cross Country, the Hunter's Chase, and any Handicap Fancies. And these lads have been scribbling down notes from early on today about all their handicap fancies. So they're going to have loads for the handicaps. But that will be in the second half of the show. So we're going to take a break after Thursday. And the first race on Thursday is the Turner's Novices Chase. Fact to file, who's not running, is 7-4. Forget about him, he's not running here. Ginny's Destiny, 11-4. Grey Dawning is 3-1, your winner. 4-1, Gaelic Warrior. 5-1, Facile Vega. Iroko, 11-2. Elete Tom, 7-1. Founder 50, 10-1. 16-1 Bar. Diarmuid Nolan, I think Grey Dawning will win. I think 3-1 is perfectly respectable value. I think he'll run here. And I think he's going to take the world of beating. Can you put me off?
His jumping concerns me. I mean, even the last day of Warwick, he's a really good horse. Probably would have. No, he definitely probably would have. He probably would have beaten Ginny's Destiny, I'd imagine, at Cheltenham, for not making that mistake. But even last time, way clear, hammering the field, still nearly takes out the second last. It's just this kind of quirk in him. Brilliant trainer who I think can get that out of him, obviously, but it's still a quirk in him. I still have that concern about the English novices last year. The novice hurdlers were a country distance behind the Irish novice hurdlers last year. And I know this lad wasn't at Cheltenham, was he?
He won in Warwick. He won the Leckhampton or...
Yeah. Well, he might have been somewhere. But anyway, but they were miles behind. Is it? Even the Martin Pipe, Barra Rocco, who could be very good, but he's only had the one start. I think he'd be the best of them based on last season. I'd love if they ran Facile Vega here.
Which I think it's sounding like they will.
Because like last season, he had to put behind a desperate effort at the DRF, and he did so, and he ran a huge race in the Supreme. He's a really talented horse who just cannot jump the right speed over 2 miles. I think 2-4 on the new course will suit him. And he's 5-1. He's been an unbelievably frustrating horse. But I just think that there's enough talent there that I really like. I like Ginny's Destiny, but again, I think this kind of... 11-4 is a desperate price. And I just think based off what we were seeing last season, I know horses can improve no end over fences, but I still just think Facile Vega was kind of way clear of these last season. And I do like him. Gaelic Warrior, I will definitely be taking on in whatever race he turns up in here at the festival. I just think that he should be going to Fair House. That should be his target. His main aim for this year should be the King George. You cannot jump that right and win at Cheltenham.
Okay. That is Diarmuid Nolan's view of the Turners. Keith Donoghue, what do you make of this race?
It's a desperate race. I think if Gaelic Warrior didn't run in Leopardstown, he'd be odds on for this race. And I think he'd win it too.
Well, he's saying he can't win any race.
That's why it's all opinions in this game.
Yeah. Why do you think that the jumping out to the right won't be as big of a deal here?
I just don't.
Or is he just so superior?
So superior. It's just a desperate race, yeah. And obviously, if Facile Vega goes for it, he's going to be the main danger to him. And I'd say if Facile Vega does go for it, I could see Paul Townend riding him because he's probably the most solid option. But I see Willie was saying they mightn't be working that well or something. So yeah, Mikey might fill us in more on that. But if he has his eyes open at all down there,
Instead of talking.
instead of talking, you know, you're always told like keep your mouth shut and your eyes open. Mikey does it the opposite way.
So then, Mikey, prove him wrong. Prove him wrong. What's the latest? What's the latest from Clay Sutton on Facile Vega, Gaelic Warrior? Are you hearing that? Are you seeing that or hearing that?
Yeah, sure. I don't know like what way that man thinks or where he's going through it. Look at your article was brilliant about this race. Like, how do we get back to getting rid of this and maybe
do you know what I mean?
Like, because this we all need to look.
If all of these ran in the Brent Advisory, it would be some race. Yeah.
Like, I agree, we're not probably going to get the 3 days back, but your 6 race day card was a good option. Like, because we really need to think of something like that, or else you're going to have 4 or 5 runners and they're going to be like novice chases and nace and these things, which is no good for the sport. So
thanks, Mikey.
No, it was brilliant.
You made my night.
Like this
we really do though, because
very
this
small field, couldn't it?
Sorry?
It could be a very small.
Yeah,
lead, like.
and the funny thing about this race
four,
is that's utterly bizarre, and we haven't seen it at Cheltenham in a long time, is that you're going to have the favourite and the second favourite and potentially the third favourite could be English, because you got Iroko, Grey Dawning and Ginny's Destiny. So it's a long time ago since the first three favourites potentially.
It's a grade 2, really. It's a good rated novice chase in December, January. If a couple of these favourites don't go, so maybe, I don't know, maybe the Irish trainers need to boycott it, or do you know, just see, can we get it scrapped? A couple of
Do you
those
think
races.
Willie Mullins or Gordon Elliott will boycott?
They could if we're losing, like, we can't fill up the first 3 days of the festival. It's only the Gold Cup day is sold out. You know, people aren't going to bet on 4 or 5 runners races that are a real hot pot in it. Like, so we earn a living in it. So I'm just trying to. You're a journalist, and I'll be talking to you this time next year probably. So drive it on again, Dave, will you? Really? You know. Anyway, that's my rant about that.
Backhand the compliment.
Regards what wins it, I haven't a clue, Dave. Sure.
All right, okay.
Whatever.
It's lucky we're not having a Cheltenham preview night, isn't it?
Yeah.
You haven't a clue. Okay,
No.
Mikey hasn't a clue what's going to win the Turners. David, have you got a clue what's going to win the Turners?
Just when you're putting it all together there, Gaelic Warrior, it's only kind of when he comes under pressure that he jumps right. Grey Dawning, I don't think he's going to be that really quick enough around there for that. I can't see. The rest of the Morocco, he hasn't ran since he won in Warwick. Ollie Greenhall, I'm a massive fan of him as a trainer. Keep an eye on him in years to come.
Real good trainer.
Yeah. I'm sure the rest of them, Gaelic Warrior, he didn't do it until last year and the year before? He could be 30 lengths clear coming to the last issue.
At the start, you said you hate the horse.
I do hate the horse.
Oh, but
wouldn't lead him
when
up.
you look down through it, though, he has a point. Like,
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
It's a biker.
That's why I said he should be odds on.
like Florin Porter could win this just as quick as the.
Look, he has 2 races to choose from. Don't give him 3.
Put in the
In
turn.
previous years, I thought
Gavin-
Mikey was the worst
Gavin-
to disagree with me, but Keith's after. Look, Mikey, you want to hurry?
Gavin
Get going
could-
a bit. You've only another 2 days left.
Have
to
we got
disagree
any
with me.
horse at home to supplement into it?
So you've in a remarkable sequence of events here. The man who hates Gaelic Warrior the most is actually tipping Gaelic Warrior to be 30 lengths clear coming down to the last.
Yeah, it's that bad a race. I think Grey Dawning's going to need so much further, and he's going to be on his head if Harry sends him from the top of the hill, which I think that's his only chance of winning the race. So I think he could be after puking. You can't. That's the first way you get a slow horse beat.
Jeez.
It's go too hard. So
Turn into Shark now. He's going to be puking at the top of the hill, is he?
the bu-
At the
Who
bottom
did,
of the
who
hill.
did Shark say that about?
Shark used to say that. He puked when he seen the hill. I think it was a real good horse.
No, he said that about the Mahler horse of Paddy Neville's that won the RSA last year.
Yeah, the real whacker,
Yeah, he said a Mahler and a puke at the bottom of the hill every time.
So Gaelic Warrior few. Don, I think the lads are being extremely harsh with Grey Dawning. I think he'll have enough natural pace to keep up. I think he is the horse that's really improved for a fence here. I thought he would have beaten Ginny's Destiny if he didn't make a mistake at the second last, and he's gone and beaten Apple away very impressively at Warwick. I think this is the right race to run him in. It's a new course. It's a tougher test of stamina on the new course than it is on the old course, even though the race in the Brown Advisories is further. I think he's going to take a hell of a lot of beating here.
Yeah, I like him as a horse in general. I'm not sure he's a grade 1 horse, but this might not be a grade 1 race. I agree with you. I think he'd have beaten Ginny's Destiny, and he did really well to get to within 3 parts of a length of him in the end after making a really bad mistake at the second last. He was giving him £3 as well that day, I think. In the Hampton Chase the last day, it was set up for him a bit. Apple away and Broadway Boy took each other on, but he beat them pointless. And yeah, that was 3 miles, and they still have the option of the Brown Advisory, but yeah, a fast run, 2.5 miles at a stiff track, that's going to suit him well. I am interested in Iroko though. I think he's a very good horse. He won the Martin Pipe Hurdle last year. He really battled on well to win it, and his only run this year, as David said, was at Warwick when his jumping was superb.
It was actually, if you get a chance, because that was it November maybe?
In November, yeah.
So it was very early in the season. You kind of forget. If you get a chance, just watch how well Iroko jumped at Warwick, because it was flawless.
It was.
Wasn't
There
it?
were 5 fences down the side of the track at Warwick, and he pinged for a chasing debutant. He pinged every single one of them. I actually backed him for the Brown Advisory after that race, and now he was gone for the season. Now he's back for the season, but he's not even in the Brown Advisory, which I think is
That
the race
is
for
a
him.
sickener.
Anyway, So it's interesting that he's in this and not in the brand advisory. But look, if he takes his chance in this, I think he's a big player in the race. But you know, it'll be some training performance now by the two lads, Josh Guerrero and Oliver Greenleaf, to get him back to win this. But I think he's a talented horse, however he fares and whether or not he runs in this race.
Okay, so it's a tentative enough vote for Rocco from Donn McClean go across the line. Mikey Fogarty, who are you with in the Turners?
Grey Dawning, I agree with you. Yeah. No, I am not. I think he'll win.
Grey Dawning, David Mullins, Gaelic Warrior.
Yeah, you said
I
it.
can't pick it. I'm gonna have to. I'll have to go with him. Yeah.
Yeah, well, if he's 30 lengths clear, you're just hoping he's going to hang on. Keith?
Yeah, Gaelic Warrior, like Ginny's Destiny is shorter than him in the betting. Ginny's Destiny got beat up 135 with his first run this year. Like, he has no chance of that.
Diarmuid?
Facile Vega.
And Facile Vega for Diarmuid. That is the Turners Novices Chase. Going to be interesting to see if Gaelic Warrior shows up there. And if he does, what he's going to do, because he also has the option of the Arkle and the Brown Advisor. I think he's still in as well. So moving on to the Ryanair Chase. Banbridge is currently your 11-4 favourite with our very generous sponsors BetMGM. Envoy Alen is 4-1. Fast or Slow is running in the Gold Cup is 9-2. Stage Star is also 9-2. Conflated 8-1. Capadano is 10-1. Fildor 12-1. I think Appreciated might be out 14-1 and 16-1 Bar. Don, I'm going to come to you here first because I know very early on you latched on to Banbridge.
Yeah, he's short now, isn't he? Is Appreciated out?
I thought I read somewhere that he is out. Yeah, I think it was in the Sporting Life yesterday. Sorry, I'm just going to grab
No point asking Mikey down there anyway.
Mikey doesn't appreciate good information. Go on, Don, sorry.
I think, yeah, look, I really like Banbridge, but he's fashionable now, isn't he? Like, he didn't run here last year because the Grand turned against him, or he didn't run at the festival, and he went to Aintree and won there. He's only run once this year in the Sylvania County Chase at Kempton, and he won well, beat Pictory, who's enhanced the form since. So, like, on good or good to soft ground, I think he's the one they have to beat. On softer ground, though, I think Stage Star is a player. I know he was beaten last time, but he wasn't right that day. Like, what he did in the Turners last year was really impressive. He got out in front, got into a lovely rhythm, and I think if the ground comes up easy, then he could do something similar. And if the ground does come up on the soft side, Banbridge might not even run. So good ground Banbridge, soft ground Stage Star. Okay, you have it sussed. So if the ground is on the soft side, Stage Star. If it's decent, it's Banbridge. Mikey, what do you like in the Ryanair?
I'm not sure if he runs, but for an outside chance, Jungle Boogie. If the ground is soft, David know him. We used to ride him in working Willies, and he's a fair engine. And God, yeah, no, he was a good horse there. So for me, at 20-1 on soft ground, I think he's a good each way bet.
Okay, an interesting shout. Malcolm Denmark, and now with Henry de Bromhead. Very interesting. Won at Tramore on New Year's Day. David, what do you like in the Ryanair?
I think Stage Star. I couldn't understand why they ran him in a handicap the last day off of, I think it was a 157 or maybe even 160 or something. Yeah. I know he didn't get a hard race really. Did he make a mistake and Harry pulled him up when still had a chance of finishing even place? But I know they think a lot of that horse, and I think they have him higher than Pictory in their ratings. So for me, I think he's a big price.
Okay, so 2 votes for Stage Star, currently a 9-2 shot. Keith?
Yeah, I agree with Don on Banbridge. I think he is kind of the strongest form coming into the race, but something we actually haven't talked about is the ground. It probably looks like it's going to be softer on the softer side.
It's going to be the softest. I know we got a deluge on the Wednesday last year, but it's going to be the softest ground for a long time, certainly on the Tuesday. It's not going to be watered, it's going to be proper soft.
It is going to be proper soft, and it opens up over there as well. Like, so, as Don said, he probably won't even get to run, you know. And I think that'll affect a lot of horses as well, because a lot of horses go, you know, for the spring wanting nicer ground, and it'll definitely it'll change a couple of results. But I'd go with Conflated here, coming down in class a little bit now, only a little bit, but he is coming down in class.
Yeah. Would you be worried about those 2 mishaps at the last twice in a row at Leopardstown?
No, not at all, no.
Okay, fair enough. Conflated is an 8-1 shot. Diarmuid, it's a fascinating Ryanair. It mightn't be the greatest Ryanair we've ever seen, but last year's winner Envoy Alen is 4-1. Should he be favourite?
Probably based off last season and the fact that we know that Henry de Bromhead will deliver him here in perfect form. But 10-year-olds don't really have the best record in these Grade 1s at the Cheltenham Festival. They just don't. They don't tend to win them. Banbridge was also excellent last time, which was his first run. He also drifted a bit in the day, and he did. That form's obviously been, quite backed up next time. He's a really good horse, but yeah, the ground's a massive concern for him. It's just been the water level is so high. A friend of mine from home is a farmer, and his buddy's a farmer over in England, and he said that the ground is just absolutely desperate there, as in the water levels all around the place there is just ridiculously high this year for the last 6 months. So like he was saying, any bit of rain between now and the festival, he was thinking that there's just not a hope that there's any sort of good ground there. So again,
with that in mind, who have you landed on?
Conflated actually as well. I think that he's just a very classy horse. I think he'll be bombing home. He'll be able to go from the front and kind of ground these into submission. I thought at the last they were just more tired, soft jumps as opposed to anything else. I wouldn't be overly concerned. He hasn't shown that before, so I know you have to forgive it, but I'm willing to forgive it. And I just think he's a lot better than most of these. I know Envy Allen is very good. He's the one they probably have to beat on that ground. But Conflated at his best really isn't far behind him at all. If he is behind him.
To be honest,
he should be in the cross country. Don't start that nonsense now. Bloody testimonials for these good horses. 8-1 Conflated. Both of you think that's a decent price?
Yeah.
Could go off shorter?
I'd say definitely. Because Banbridge more than likely probably won't run.
Okay, there you go. I'm sure we have plenty of Banbridge supporters in the audience who are going to be praying for a dry couple of days over in Cheltenham. That is the Ryanair Chase. Moving on to the last race we're going to preview before our break, and it is the Stayers Hurdle. And currently, Teahupoo is your 3-1 favourite, and I cannot see that 3-1 lasting much longer. I think Teahupoo is going to go off much shorter. 7-2 Irish Point is the option to run in the Champion Hurdle. Crambo is 11-2, 10-1 Noble Yates, your Grand National winner. Your former Bearing Bingham winner, Sir Gerhard, is 10-1. Flooring Porter is 14-1, 16-1 Monkfish, who likely to go in the Gold Cup. Paisley Park 16-1 and 20-1 Bar. Right, Keith, we have to start with you here. Flooring Porter has won 2 Stayers Hurdles under glorious rides from Danny Mullins. You're going to be taking over in the saddle if he runs here. You've given this horse a peach on a couple of occasions over the last 2 years. The Flooring Porter of 2024 compared to the Flooring Porter of 2021 and 2022, is he almost as good as he was? Is he a bit below that level? What can we expect from Flooring Porter if he runs here?
I'd say he's definitely, it's there to be seen that he probably is a little bit below it. Same thing, back to the ground. The better the ground, the better his chance. The softer the ground, the worse chance he has. So, look, I think he'll definitely could get placed in this race, but even on his best days, is he good enough to win it? I'm not sure.
What is good enough to win it?
I'm not actually sure either. I don't know. Teahupoo, I just have my doubts about him.
Why?
He's a little bit soft. Don't know. Does he fully stay 3 mile? I know he wants soft ground, which he's probably going to get. But I don't know. Is he an out and out stayer?
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think it was maybe stamina rather than, probably not the greatest ride Davy Russell ever gave a horse last year? Do you think it was more stamina than anything?
I did. Yeah. Look at if he'd been good enough last year, the ride wouldn't have mattered.
Okay, so you have your doubts.
Yeah.
English soft versus Irish soft. How different is that?
If the English ground went heavy, it'd be the same as soft in Ireland.
So is there heavy enough for him over in England, do you think, compared to what he gets?
There will be this year.
Yeah, okay.
Do you think Irish Point, if he runs against Teahupoo here, has a better chance than Teahupoo?
No.
Oh, so you don't like him at all?
I do. He's a good horse, but I don't think he'll stay on the ground either.
Okay, so you're right in Flooring Porter in this race. If he runs here, what's your biggest danger?
Noble Yates.
Oh. So the way these previews work is, Keith, you give a name of a horse you fancy, and then you elaborate on the point. It's like doing an exam. You have to work out your answer. So you have to tell us.
I didn't do any exams.
So the reasons for fancying Noble Yates are?
Well, obviously he's a Grand National winner. He's a very good horse. He was good last day in Cheltenham. I forget the name of the race.
Cleve.
Hurdle. You know, he was very good, and he's coming in off the back of that. He's going to take a bit of beating.
And you're worried about Tihupu's stamina, but this fella just, if he's there turning for home, you know he's going to come home like he did in the Cleve.
You know he's going to stay, yeah.
Yeah, you think that's the biggest asset here, pure stamina?
Yeah.
Okay. And he's 10-1 currently with BetMGM. That is Noble Yates. Diarmuid Nolan. He's not a Tihupu fan. I am. I think he deserves the benefit of the doubt. Where do you stand with Tihupu?
The staying thing's a new thing actually, so I hadn't thought about that. But I just can't have him down as being this A-list superstar that Irish Pie needs to be moved to a different race to avoid him.
He's won 2 Hatton's Graces.
I know, but he's won 2 Hatton's Graces, and then, like, you know, the Irish
Beaten
stayers,
Honeysuckle.
hurdles aren't.
He's beaten Imperi Pass.
Over his prime distance.
You think he's a 2.5 miler? Okay.
And yeah, like I know he beat Honeysuckle, but she improved during that season. Ended up in the Mayor's Hurdle at the end of the year. You know, it just wasn't her full A game either. Irish Point really like him. I probably would back him on the day. I'm already on Noble Yates. I put him up with the race there at 33, so I'm happy to be on him.
Nice.
But the cheek pieces going back on him could be a big difference to him as well. Obviously, he ran without them last time, and that kind of caused him to wander a bit before he came back again. You know, 3 out or 2 out, he just went wandering, kind of like hit that soft spot, flew home. Then I'm wondering if those cheek pieces could maybe fix that, and if it does, he's bang there in the firing line again. Crambo, the price difference between Crambo and Noble Yates is madness, considering they basically are coming into this with the exact same piece of form, just about seeing off Paisley Park. So it doesn't make any sense at all. I don't think any of these horses reaches Noble Yates' marks over fences. I don't think any of them get near that. I know he won't match that over hurdles, but he doesn't have to at all. He needs to get up to, I just basically it boils down to the point that I don't believe that Tihupu is this good that he warrants the fear that seems to be coming out about moving Irish Point. I'd run them both. That's why I probably don't have the both of them. But Noble Yates.
But you'd run them both, but you don't think either of them will win?
I think Irish Point would have a better chance. No, I said at the start I'd probably back Irish Point on the day because I'm already in a position with Noble Yates. I do think Irish Point will stay. I do think he's very good. We didn't learn fuck all the last day simply because of the fact that he went a slow pace. But Noble Yates.
Are we allowed to say fuck?
Yeah.
Didn't take
Noble Yates.
News to me.
Noble Yates to me at 10-1 is still an okay price.
Okay.
Yeah.
Noble Yates. So 2 votes so far for Noble Yates. David Mullins. How good of a trainer is Emmett Mullins?
Fuck it, I don't fucking know.
Oh, brilliant.
See what you started.
I didn't mean to start that.
How good of a trainer is Emmett Mullins? Is he the genius that we all think he is?
Yeah. Don't make me say that about him, please.
Well, that was what I was trying to do.
No.
I was trying to take you out of your comfort zone and say something that you didn't want to say, but he is a very good trainer.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone else will be able to do with what he's done with this horse. To get him back from the national, to me, like Tiger Roll was brilliant to get back once, but to get a horse back over performing over hurdles, which is actually going to improve his chances again for the national this year, I see it as a stepping stone. I can't see him win it, especially against a horse like Irish Point. You've had Nichols Canyon, sort of Thistle Cracks, them sort of horses. Irish Point has plenty of class. I think he's going to win 10, 12 lengths. Yeah, there's just nothing in this race.
That changed dramatically there mid-sentence.
Noble Yates is not. He can't be a Grade 1 hurdler. Like there's no reason for it, especially when Irish Point has won in Aintree as a novice. Proves he gets 3 miles in Leopardstown on testing ground a few times as well. His form last year over 2 mile was brilliant. And then to go and prove that he stays. This horse has class, like Nichols Canyon. I see him as the similar type of horse.
Wow, very good case. Well made for Irish Point. Currently 7-2 with BetMGM. Has he convinced you, Mikey Fogarty? Is Irish Point your 2020?
No.
Is Irish Point your 2024 Stayers Hurdle winner?
No, he might, but he's just. I went down through it, and the 2 way.
How did you get on?
I went down through it there for the last 5 minutes, and The two I landed on were Crambo and Sire de Burley.
Why, did you like the names?
No, I just felt Crambo is probably the most unexposed. And the
Who
other
trains him?
Fergal O'Brien.
Well done. Well done.
And the other lad, just in case he does his freak thing of coming on from his last run and in the spring, just he might be one at a bit of an each way price. So
You worked in Fairy House last Saturday. Were you on anything in these pieces of work at Fairy House last Saturday?
Flo Porter.
How did that go?
Good, yeah.
How did...
What do you mean? You in a school in Bumper? Or
No, they're just galloping after
Oh,
racing. But I wasn't on Gordon, so I seen Gordon, sorry.
Yeah, Sire de Burley worked, and obviously he does. I can't imagine he's a good workhorse, but the signs were far more positive last Saturday at Fairy House than they had been with Sire de Burley. So he might just be starting to come. You never know.
Some horse to turn it on this time of year, anyway.
He is, yeah. He is unique, Sire de Burley. Being unbelievable.
It's like there's a little button on him come March. Just
Yeah,
press him
sun
on.
comes out, there he is. But it'd be some achievement to win 4 Cheltenham Festivals. He's already won 2 Pertams finals, and now he could win 2 Stairs hurdles. So you think he might be the value, Mikey?
Yeah, 20 to 1. I'd have a tenner each train him. Like Irish Point, I just that form at Christmas. There was no second, was there? I thought.
No, Home by the Lead is appointed.
Yeah, it
Ballyadam was in there.
Didn't happen for Home by the Lead that day. There was no one to make the running for him. And look, he might. He's a good horse, but like it's a grueler of a race, and he's only 6, I'd say, Spanish or that Irish Point. Is he turned 6? It can be a tough race on a. On a like you need a bit of graft sometimes to win it. I think, but I could be wrong. But yeah.
You were changing his nationality.
Crambo is my one for on the
from Irish Point and the Spanish Point. You were down in Galway.
Yeah, I was down there one night.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I'm going to go Crambo to win and Sire de Burley each way.
Okay, lovely.
Ask Don to talk about sense there because we've been just blabbering on.
Don, bring some sense to this party.
Like Sire de Burley, just on him, he's unreal. He's 12 now. He won it as an 11-year-old last year. He was the first horse aged, I think, older than 9 since the 80s to win it. So, like, unreal. Then he went and won the Liverpool hurdle afterwards. He was about 1,000 to 1 in running it that day, I'd say. And yeah, this is his time of year, so it's interesting that he's such a big prize.
Can you see it? Can you see it?
Look, it's hard for it. Like, it's hard to see an 11-year-old win it. It's harder to see a 12-year-old winning it. But it's his time of year, and it's not a deep race, I don't think. But I'm with you on Teapu. He was only beaten about 2 lengths in the race last year, and that was after getting hampered on the run-in. He was subsequently promoted and then subsequently demoted back to 3rd. This year he won the Hattons Grace hurdle again, beat Impare Pass, and Gordon Elliott said directly after the race he's going straight for the Stairs hurdle, which was a bold shout, but he is at his best when he's fresh. He's run 8 times off a break of 50 days or more. He's won all 8 times. Which
Beautiful. That's why we love Donn McClean. Stats like that.
But isn't that that's an incredible stat? So he could have run at Christmas and he'd still be 50 days fresh, but still they said they'd leave him off, and I guess they had Irish Point for that. So Irish Point, agree with the lads, his stamina for me is not proven. They went a sedate pace in the race at Christmas, and it was his pace that won. He's a 2.5 mile Grade 1 winner as a novice at Aintree, so he's got that pace. And stranger things have happened than him being rerouted to the Champion Hurdle. There has to be a chance that he'll go to the Champion Hurdle now. It could be a small field, but I think Teapu is rock solid. He's a year stronger this year than he was last year. He's been trained for the race. He won a Galmoy hurdle last year before going to the Stairs. It probably just knocked the freshness off him on soft ground at Goran Park. And I know he's only a 3 to 1 shot, but yeah, I think he deserves to be favoured.
And Don, you're getting a little bit older, as we all are, and your memory is getting a little bit hazier as well.
Right?
Do you know why? Because you thought he was beating 3 lengths in the Stairs hurdle last year.
What was he?
He was beating 3/4 of a length.
Yeah,
that's how close he got. 3/4 of a length.
It's well been 3 lengths though. He wasn't getting there. I don't think. I didn't see. I don't know. Maybe I was looking at the wrong race. I didn't see much interference.
I was just stating facts.
Did you? It wasn't an unlucky loser, I don't think.
No, but he didn't. He wasn't given a good race.
Right, maybe.
I was sitting beside Davy Russell anyway. I fairly moved when he came in after it.
Okay. Sorry, I wasn't watching that one.
You're with Teapu, and I think you're right. It is Sire de Burley potentially at a big price for Mikey. With who was the other one you put him with?
Crambo to win.
Crambo. David is with Irish Point. Thinks he could win by a wide margin. And the 2 buckos.
I'm with Flo and Porter.
You're with Florian Porter, kind of, but also with Noble Yates and Diarmuid Nolan. is with Noble Yates. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the first half of our preview. It is now... welcome back to our Race Hour preview night. You've joined the second half. For those of you watching at home, thanks very much for joining in. And for those of you that made the effort to come here, thanks very much. We're going to have a lively second half. And thanks to our sponsors, BetMGM and Gambling.com. And don't forget, BetMGM are non-runner, no bet, all Cheltenham Festival races. And you can bet 10 quid and get 40 quid in free bets for our UK customers. And you will see that offer flashing across your screen. So there you go. Thanks to our sponsors, BetMGM. So, day 4 of the Cheltenham Festival, as we all know, kicks off with the Triumph Hurdle. And this year, we could have an absolute superstar on our hands. We've seen him working with Constitution Hill at Kempton on Tuesday. He looked every inch a superstar there. He looked a superstar at the trials meeting at Cheltenham. He is currently 4-6 favourite with BetMGM. He is the one, the only Sir Gino, who my colleague on Up in the Ante, Johnny Deneen, thinks is the biggest certainty at the Cheltenham Festival, thinks he'll win next year's Arkle, thinks he could be the second coming. I presume this is going to be short and sweet, Donn McClean. I presume Sir Gino is the bet of the meeting, is he?
You know the answer to this one, Dave.
Yeah, we'll move on to Mikey, yeah?
No.
What?
I think he's short. I think he's got that one run the last day was a very good run. The time was good. He beat Burdett Road impressively.
I feel a big butt coming.
Yeah, I just think I think it's a deeper race than suggested by the fact that he's an odds-on shot in it. I think the Irish challenge is strong. That spring juvenile hurdle, it's always a good pointer to the Triumph Hurdle. Even the beaten horses in the spring hurdle go on and have won the Triumph Hurdle, like Lossiemouth last year for starters. Countrywide Flame did it. Farah Clara reverse placings with the runner-up in the race the last day. And Tiger Roll was beaten in it. He won the Triumph. So I think the spring hurdle is a good race and it's a good pointer to the Triumph. This year, there was no standout Irish juvenile, but I thought Magsborough ran a massive race on his first run for Willie Mullins, his first run since last April, to go as well as he did. He led early. His jumping was very good. And I thought even after he was passed in Kerjeza, she did well to win and she improved in her last run. She wasn't as keen this time. But I just loved the way Magsborough kept on all the way to the line to finish third behind her. And Willie Mullins just afterwards, he seemed to think that there was an awful lot of improvement to come from Magsborough. So I think he's going to be a big player in the Triumph.
Yeah, you are a very big fan of Magsborough. So is Willie Mullins. Willie Mullins, even in a stable tour back in November, was singing about this Magsborough. Just said he looks every inch a Gold Cup horse in the years to come. Doesn't look like a juvenile. And he did make a very promising Irish debut in the Spring Juvenile Hurdle. So Magsborough for Donn McClean at 7-1 against the hot favourite Sir Gino, who Donn McClean thinks could be vulnerable. Mikey Fogarty, what have you made of Sir Gino so far?
Unbelievable.
He's awesome, isn't he?
Awesome.
Tell Don he's talking nonsense there.
No. He's right what he said about Marsborough, whatever. Yeah, Marsborough, and I don't know the times, the stats or this whatever.
What do you know?
All I know is what my eyes saw in Cheltenham the last day, and I saw the winner of the Triumph Hurdle. Yeah, he is a machine. He'd win the Champion Hurdle if your man wasn't in it nearly. So yeah, I watched the race in France actually. He only won by about a length or something, but he could have won by about 12 lengths.
From Salvatore Monday, yeah.
So he looks a big horse. He looks like a horse that's going to switch off. There's probably only going to be about 10 runners in it. I agree with Johnny Deneen. He's a machine.
A machine is Sir Gino. Getting a bit worried, Don?
Oh, yeah.
No, but that Don's horse.
No, you're not going to offend him. Don't worry. It's fine. It's fine. Don is able to take it, so he is.
If I had $6,000, I'd put him on him to win 4.
You've more than $6,000. Let me tell you.
Stop that.
You're only getting 3 for tonight, David.
And a night in the Shelbourne.
What have you made of Sir Gino?
Yeah, he's sick to watch. He is deadly. Even in Kempton when he kicked the hurdles out of the ground straight back on the bridle, doesn't look like a quick horse that's just going to impress you. He does everything right. it's going to be a stiffer test again the next day in Cheltenham on that track. Masborough, it's going to suit him, but if you're looking outside Sergino and what you're seeing, you're kind of wrong. Bunting is another horse he was favoured for that one stage. Very good in Limerick. I thought he didn't get a clear run, but he got a clear run up the straight in Leopardstown. I thought he should have been second or third. I don't know where the jockey kept switching stick and switching in and out, and it definitely cost him 2 or 3 lengths on tacky ground on a weak 4-year-old. It's going to be stronger. He ran a bit keen as well. Would Paul ride this horse? I think he's going to improve a lot for the last day, and for Paul Townend riding him.
So you think Paul might ride Bunting?
Yeah.
Over Cargisi and Stormheart?
Yeah. I don't think there's much in it. I couldn't believe after all the talk about him in Limerick and then going and being so impressive. Was he maybe not wound up, or had he disappointed at home? I'm not 100% sure how he was 14-1 the last day and still ran a cracker. Should have been second, I thought. At each way money, I'd be looking at Bunting. Yeah.
Okay, Bunting at 18-1. And just to touch on Masborough, is he, like, to see him in the parade ring? If you're at Cheltenham this year, you won't see a finer specimen than Masborough in the parade ring. Like, he's going to be some horse in 2 years' time, isn't he?
He looked a small bit like a horse now coming up the straight.
Okay. Okay, you've blown that bubble. Keith, Triumph Hurdle. Anything you've probably ridden against a few of these. Anything you particularly like?
No, I can't ride 3 rows because I'm too heavy.
Oh, okay. Could be worse. You could be me. What do you like in the Triumph Hurdle?
So look, at Sergino is very good. The last day he looks the one they all have to beat. I thought Stormheart was very good in Punchestown. I really liked the way he came off the bend and quickened down at the last. And I was just a bit disappointed with him the last day. So he just got caught a little bit wide and a little bit further back. So I'd be one that he'd be one I'd fancy at.
Yeah, I actually have a feeling that Paul might stay loyal to Stormheart. I just have a feeling. I think he thinks there could be more in the locker with Stormheart, and Stormheart at the moment is 10-1 with BetMGM. Diarmuid, what do you like in the Triumph?
I agree with Don. Yeah, I like Masborough. Gary Connolly, who's our French racing expert in the Racehour, he's been talking about this horse all season, and I kind of followed him in, not mad price or anything like it, but I liked the performance the last day. I thought Mark Walsh was just kind of trying to figure out a bit more about him. Willie, again, in your stable tour, was kind of saying that there should be, a lot more improvement in him. So 7-1 or so is a decent price. Sergino looks awesome. He looks very, very good. But again, look, he's only one horse, and at 7-1, Masborough does represent a bit of each way value to me.
Okay, excellent. So we have 2 votes for Sergino, we have 2 for Masborough, and we have 1 for Stormheart. In the Triumph Hurdle, we're up and running on Friday. Moving on to the second race, the third race on Friday. It's the 250. It's the Albert Bartlett Novices Hurdle, and Reading Tommy Wrong is currently our 13-2 favourite. Dancing City is 7-1, High Class Hero 7-1, Gidley Park 9-1, Captain Teague 10-1, Shanna Bob 10-1, Lecky Watson 12-1, Johnny Who 16-1, and 20-1 Bar. Mikey, kick us off with the Albert Bartlett winner.
Can you go to someone else first, please? I'm ready for this one.
You aren't ready.
Get me last.
Well, you know what you do, Mikey? Warm yourself up there, right? Warm yourself up. Get G'd up there in the parade ring. Donn McClean, what wins the Albert Bartlett?
I think it's a really open race. It looks like Reading Tommy Wrong is going to come here, maybe, which I think is the right race for him.
Yeah, it seems that certainly the exchanges seems to be pointing that way.
Yeah, he won it through stamina the last day, and Darryl Jacob, who rode him, seemed to think that he'd be better over further. I think Willie said directly afterwards that he could be at Bearing Bingham horse, but it looks like he's coming here, which is, I think, is the right race for him. He's going to improve for stepping up and trip. Dancing City was very good the last day, stayed on well. He was the outsider of the whole field, and he kept on well. That was over 2 miles 6. He'll probably improve for going further. Shanna Bob was a horse I was interested in, but we haven't seen him in a little while. I presume it hasn't been the plan to leave him off for that long. But I think Captain Teague might be the value of the race. He ran well in the bumper last year. He's a shallow hurdle winner over 2.5 miles. And shallow hurdle winners, they tend to get further than that at Softgun and Newbury and New Year's Eve, I think. And he only won by a short enough margin in the end, but he travelled like the most likely winner from a long way out. He won with plenty in hand, and I think he had improved for stepping up and trip.
Okay, that's Captain Teague at 10-1. David Mullins, you have the inside track on the Nickel stable. What can you tell us about Captain Teague?
I don't, but I do fancy Captain Teague. Yeah, I fancy Captain Teague, but Paul Town is worth £7 to every horse on the Friday at Cheltenham for some reason.
It is. It's extraordinary, isn't it? How good he is on the Friday.
He's doing it the last 10 years. You see Wicklow Brave, Arctic Fire, all those horses with top weights in the county, and he done me.
Penn Hill, yeah.
Penn Hill, yeah.
State man.
Captain
What do you
Teague
think he's
is
going to rise here, Paul?
You'd have to ride Reading Tommy wrong. He looks like he's going to stay all day. I think the Barring Bingham will be too sharp for him. Yeah, he'd surely get back on. What do you after Darrell?
Would it be hard for him to get off High Class Hero? Has a string of ones next to his name. I did a preview with him earlier on today, and I got the impression from him he's going to find it hard to get off him. He really likes kind of High Class Hero's attitude and just thinks he knows how to win.
Yeah, but he's winning. Is he winning great races? What did he beat in Limerick? I can't really think. I know he got hurt a few times, and that's why he was campaigning kind of during the summer, and that's just the way it worked out for the horse. But I think he has kind of too many gears to be winning in Albert Bartlett.
Too many gears.
Yeah.
High Class Hero.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
He's a very sharp horse. His jumping does let him down a small bit. That won't be a problem on that track. But I think he's a very classy horse. And I just think if it turns into a slog, Captain Teague and Reading Tommy Wrong are going to be pulling out more after the last.
Okay, so you have it between those two, Captain Teague and Reading Tommy Wrong.
Yep.
And of the two, who would you prefer?
Captain Teague.
Captain Teague. Yeah, I'm a big Captain Teague fan.
In case she's listening.
In case who's listening? Well, Keith, Captain Teague I'm a big fan of. So is David. What do you like?
Yeah, it's a very good race. I agree with David on High Class Hero. I think obviously he's been placed well. I think he can knock the horses he's been beaten a little bit. And just hasn't, like the last day he looked like he was going to win easy and didn't really take off after the last. And then we went 100 yards by the line. What Pat would have finished third, he would have passed him out. Dantle City was good in Leopardstown. I think Willie's going to win the race with either Dantle City or Reading Tommy Wrong. I think he'd win it either way.
One of those two. And have you a preference for either?
I'd say Reading Tommy Wrong.
Reading Tommy Wrong, currently a 13-2 shot with BetMGM, and that could get shorter if he is definitely going for this race. Diarmuid the Albert Bartlett. Tricky.
Very, very tough, yeah. I kind of went through it last night, watched a good few races there, and I kind of brought myself around to a horse that I really hadn't. I thought Gidley Park was actually very good last time. I had some plan, took him for toe for obviously a few strides, and he kind of flew back with him. It does look like he's going here, for all intents and purposes. Obviously that could change, but I do think that there's something very, very classy about him. So at 9-1, he's where I'm falling now at the moment. That is liable to change. It's kind of one of those races. But a horse I'd love to know what's going on with him. He's still being left in is Chigorin at 50-1. I really liked what he did at Fairyhouse.
Chigorin. Chigorin.
Or is it Chigorin? How do you...
Yeah, no. I'm trying to remember. Who trains it?
Henry.
Henry.
Yeah.
Okay.
He won a Fairyhouse in December. He was really good. Looked an absolute stamp of a chaser. 3 mile, big horse. O'Moore Park was behind him that day in 4th.
Oh, I know the horse, yeah.
Yeah. And it was a really good performance. I don't know whether something's wrong. I don't know whether Henry has put him away, which he can do to kind of bring them here to the festival. Henry de Bromhead has had 50-1 winners of this race.
It's a race he does target, like.
Yeah, and he doesn't seem to have a whole pile in it, bar this lad, as far as I was looking. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't think so. And at Fairyhouse, he was just really good. I've marked him down as one to follow, and we just haven't seen him since at all. So I don't know whether the horse had an issue. I just don't have a clue. But if he's there on the day and he's 50-1, that performance at Fairyhouse was too good. He's a beautiful big horse. Robbie Power spoke very well about him after, but of course you are going to do that. Being assistant trainer, you're not going to say he's a hound. But he was very good. And I just think 50-1 is too big in a race that's just so open.
Beautiful. That's Chigorin. Put him in your notebooks at 50-1 potentially for the Albert Bartlett. He has done it before, of course, with Manila Indo. Now, Mikey, you've had a good 6 or 7 minutes there now. What have you got for us?
Dancing City.
Dancing City.
Yeah. 7-year-old, need a bit of age in this. It's a funny race, and I just, after he's run the last day, yeah, you'd have to say He's the one for me. Innit?
Dancing City for Mikey Fogarty. I've lost track now. Did you give us your selection?
Yeah,
What was it?
Captain Teague.
Captain Teague. It was Captain Teague. Sorry, lost the run of myself there. I got confused.
The Captain T.
Your selection.
My selection, my trump card. Yeah, I was fancying my trump card, and the vibes are getting a little bit better from Gordon's. If he does jump well, I think he's a proper stayer. I think he's got a small chance, and I know you do too.
Yeah, I know he is. He's definitely a good horse. I was a little bit disappointed with him last out high when he's.
Yeah. Took it up quite early, didn't he? He's one of these horses, my trump card. When he meets a hurdle right, he's brilliant, but when he meets it bad, he's terrible. So he'll need to jump well.
Who was second? Dr. Eggman, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He got pointed.
He's beaten since, yeah. That is the Albert Bartlett. Moving on to the big one on Friday. It's the highlight of the jump season. It is the Boodles Cheltenham Gold Cup and Galloping the Shams. Some people on the panel think he's a big horse. Some people think he's not a big horse. Galloping the Shams currently your even money favourite. Fast or Slow 9-2. Shishkin reinvented as a staying chaser 7-1. Jerry Calam 11-1. Long Press 14-1. Brave Man's Game last year's runner-up is 16-1. Gentleman's Game is 20-1. And Hewick for the Fairy Tale for Shark is 20-1. It's 22-1 bar. Right, boys. Mikey, you weren't quite sure about the Albert Bartlett when I came to you first. This is the Cheltenham Gold Cup. It's the big one. Galloping the Shams. Are we talking about the best horse since Cotto Star?
Yeah, you'd have to. Yeah. He has to go and do it again this year. It's going to be hard to do what Cato started though. But look, he definitely is going that way.
Will he win?
Possibly. Would I back him at even money in a Gold Cup with the record Gold Cup horses have to be back to back? No. And
It's not that long ago since we had a back-to-back winner.
I know, that was different though. They hacked for the first mile and a half the first year Albion Photo won it, didn't they? Yeah, and it wasn't really a strong race. And I think this year's race is better. You've got like just a bit more strength and depth. So I am gonna I give Shishkin a chance. Fast or Slow, I was a little bit disappointed with him the last day. I don't know how wound up, or I don't know. I just felt, in fairness, that they didn't, he didn't really get a really hard race. So maybe he wasn't able to go any harder. A little bit disappointed with Long Press the last day, but it's the same story, a bit like Fast or Slow. They didn't really give him a hard race. So I'm left with Shishkin and Gentleman's Game, and just the ground. If the ground is heavy, Shishkin doesn't want that. So look, I don't know. I'm going to give a bit of a squeak to maybe.
You're going to give a squeak to the mouse.
Yeah.
Gentleman's Game.
20-1 maybe. Yeah.
Gentleman's Game 20-1. A lot of shrewdies fancying Gentleman's Game, including Mikey Fogarty now 20-1.
No, that's just not shrewd. It's just a guess. I just decided there now.
that was too honest.
But it was an educated guess.
It wasn't. It spurred a moment, educated guess
Yeah, solid.
that took 11 seconds to come up with. There you go. Gentleman's Game 20-1 for Mikey Fogarty. Is he mad, Donn McClean?
No, he's not mad at all. It was a really good run to Charlie Hall. He was getting weight from Brave Man's Game, and he made a bit of a mistake at the final fence, but he's likely raced. He's only had 3 runs over fences, and Mouse Morris is dynamite with these horses. When War of Attrition won it, I don't think he'd run in the calendar year. I think he ran at Christmas, and that was it until he won the Gold Cup in 2006. So look, you definitely give him a chance at a big price. Shishkin's a 10-year-old. He's come back to cool down for the last 10-year-old winner, so be worried about that. Long Press, I wouldn't mind his run the last day. He was going right-handed. He jumps to his left. It was 2 miles 5. He's better over further, so I'd forgive him that. It's a case of whether he's good enough now to go and beat Galloping the Champ, and I think he might not be. Jerry Calam's a bit of a forgotten horse. He might, at the start of the season, he was all the rage, and it wouldn't be surprising to see him bounce back. He ran really well. He was only just beaten by the Real Whacker in the RS or in the Brown Advisory last year, and the 3 miles 2.5 furlong trip, that should suit him. So he might outrun his odds by a wee bit. But I think Fast or Slow has a big chance. Look, Galloping the Champ is a monster, and if he puts up the performance that he put up in the Savills Chase, then it's going to be very difficult to beat him. But Fast or Slow has beaten him twice, and I just thought in the race the last day they didn't go fast. Like Paul Tannen dictated it, and the sectionals tell you it was a slow pace. I think he beat him for pace, and I know there was talk about Fast or Slow going for the Ryanair Chase this year, but I think he's a stamina horse, and he won the Punchestown Gold Cup last year. It was all about stamina. He just about held on to Galopin de Champs and Braveman's game when they quickened. And then for me, he outstayed them over the last two fences at Punchestown. He won the John Durkan chases all over a trip that was probably too short, but he was very weak in the market on his first run back. In the Irish Gold Cup, he hadn't run since the John Durkan chase, so there's a chance he'll come on for it. He does go a wee bit to his right, so maybe he's better at Punchestown than he is anywhere else. But he was only just beaten by Corach Rambler in the Ultimate Chase last year. He was only beaten in the Coral Cup the year before in his 2 runs at Cheltenham, so he does go well at Cheltenham. And I can see him coming forward from his run the last day and giving Galopin de Champs a real race again.
And at 9-2 at the moment, do you think he's kind of corking each way value?
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Yeah, I think he's got a big chance. Yeah.
Okay, 9-2, fast or slow against the jolly Galopin de Champs. David Mullins, Galopin de Champs on his last 2 starts has looked unbeatable. Is it likely we're going to see the same Galopin de Champs? Can he do it kind of 3 times in a row?
Sure, that's impossible to tell. Like, all you can say is on his last 2 runs he wins. And even in Punchestown, the John Durkan, I didn't think he looked like himself. He was very sluggish going around the parade ring beforehand. Coming out of saddling stalls, it looked like he didn't want to come out. Might have been something wrong. I'm not sure, but he definitely wasn't himself. But if you look at him running through the line, he still ran through the line that day over 2.5 mile as well. And I think I was talking to Paul after he won at Christmas or something. I'm not sure. Maybe it was after Dublin Racing Festival, and he said when I look back at the race to John Durkan and at the line, you could see the engine was still there. There was just something wrong with him on the day. He fancied him for Christmas, so you could give a chance to every single horse in that race. And there's a great story behind them all, like Martin Brazel, Shishkin on the comeback, Gordon Elliott for all his fans with Jerry Colombe. Lon Press said it'd be brilliant for the North of England to win or the North of England or Scotland. How would you say?
What's neither?
Felicia Williams.
Is she not up the north?
No.
Oops.
Mikey giving you geography lessons now.
Yeah. Gentleman's Game, Mouse and Sir Hewitt. That'll be some story again.
That won't be some story.
Jordan Gainford apparently said last year he was going to win it, according to the Shark.
Yeah. Yeah. This fairy tale with Hewitt, I think we'd all agree it would be fantastic if to see Shark win the Gold Cup in the winners' enclosure afterwards would be a phenomenal story. Are we just kind of dreaming though? Is there any chance it could happen?
He won't good ground. He won't good ground.
Yeah. There is a chance though. Yeah, definitely. But Galopin de Champs, if he shows up, I think he's possibly the best horse we've ever seen. I think he is. His performances have been the best performances.
Best horse we've ever seen.
Best performances I've ever seen is Galopin de Champs. Yeah.
In the Sable Chase, Leopardstown at Christmas. Extraordinary performance.
Yeah, and the Gold Cup last year.
Yeah. So he could be the best horse you've ever seen. Better than Caudo Star, better than Sprinter Sacra.
It's the best performance I've ever seen for the 3rd time.
Oh, sorry, okay.
Yeah. He has to stay down for 5 years.
I think the quote was at one stage though, he could be the best horse you've ever seen.
Could.
Yeah, I think you said that too. Yeah, you did.
We can watch it back on the tape.
right
We'll watch it back.
Okay.
Well, no, it's not an outlandish statement either, because he could be the best horse we've ever seen. If he wins another Gold Cup and wins it impressively, he could be the best horse we've seen. So it's not stupid. David, the final question I have for you, at even money, you're a shrewd judge, you're a good punter. At even money, will you be back in Galopin de Champs in the Gold Cup?
Yeah, I'd be backing about 1-2 on the day, I'd say, yeah.
Well, you think he'd be shorter than even?
I'd take that bet.
If he gets there, and I like the way he's going around the parade ring, no bother at all.
You'll get stuck in.
Yeah.
Okay, GSI, as his uncle would say. Keith Donoghue, it is a fascinating Gold Cup. As David said, the stories around all these runners in the race, we're going to have a story one way or the other, no matter who wins. Is it a case of Galopin de Champs at his best just wins, or can you find something lower down the list who has the potential to beat an unsung Galopin de Champs?
No, I think if Galopin de Champs turns up in the way he has the last 2 runs, he'll win. I can see Jerry Colombe getting a little bit closer to him with the extra 2 furlongs. You have to respect Siskin. He's a brilliant horse on his day. I'd like to see Hewitt run well, but if he doesn't put Jordan Gainford on him, I hope he doesn't run well. And
he'll ride. Surely he'll ride.
He'd want to. Just the way Shark is coming out with things in the press now, just annoy you a bit, but that Shark, isn't it? And I remember after the Dublin Racing Festival when Danny won the first 3 races, and Paul was after getting beaten a few, and I was just sitting down and I seen Paul staying beside me. I thought, this is going to be in bad form. He just comes on, he's not too bad. And then I just said something to him. I see a big grand, your man will win. And he just said to me, he will win.
Gallop in the Champs.
Yeah. And that's the confidence he had after getting beat on 3 favourites in the horse. Like, if that was any other jockey, they'd be down and out. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
That's the, he'd so much confidence in him. He just high snapped it.
Do you think if we're all back here in 10 years' time, we'll be looking back and Gallop in the Champs and saying he's one of the greatest horses we've seen?
I do, yeah. When he's on song, he's so good, and he just looks a joy to ride. And look, he's the best jockey in the race, the best trainer in the race. He's the best horse in the race, so he's probably winning.
Well put.
Yeah.
Diarmuid, anything at bigger prices? So first of all, do you think Gallop in the Champs will win?
Yeah.
Okay. If people, and I'm sure BetMGM have betting without the favourite markets, Gallop in the Champs currently evens. If you were looking for something in the betting without Gallop in the Champs market, who would you be on?
Jerry Clom. But again, he was kind of part of that problem that kind of Gordon had around that period where the horses were just flopping. He just didn't run his race. He still actually ran okay, but he was just a distance behind a superstar of a horse. The run at Down Royal was excellent. Last season was obviously looking at Brown Advisory. He's a very, very good racehorse. I kind of thrived in his racing last season, so that's the only bit of a kind of worry I'd have, that he hasn't he hasn't had that one extra run. But he's still going there. This has been his big day. If Gallop in the Champs, if the number of races does begin to actually tell on him, which I don't think it will, he hasn't shown any signs of it, but if it does, and there's a kind of a big move towards him, I think Jerry Clown, he'll be the one finding the very most for those kind of final 2 furlongs. And at 11-1, I think he does represent very good value.
Okay, 11-1 each way, or potentially without the favourite market. So a bit of audience interaction again, okay? So on the count of 3, okay, I want you to shout out as loud as you can who you fancy in the Gold Cup, okay? So on the count of 3, roar as loud as you can who's going to win the Gold Cup. 1, 2, 3. There you go. That's a pretty ringing endorsement, I think, for Gallop in the Champs. Currently even money. It could be a steal. I thought it sounded like Gallop in the
It did
Champs.
from here, definitely did. Yeah.
This side of, for people watching at home, this side of the fence there was very much Gallop in the Champs. Sorry, up there, what was the shouts? The mouse and fast or slow. Okay, so maybe it won't be a one-horse race for Gallop in the Champs, but currently you're even money favourites, and David Mullins thinks that could prove to be a cracking price. That's your Boodles Cheltenham Gold Cup. Now we're going to look at the 3 Mares races, folks. Diarmuid Nolan, the Mares Chase, the Mares Hurdle, and the Mares Novice Hurdle. Potentially one of the best races of the week this year, the Mares Novice Hurdle. It's going to be an absolute belter. So if we could have a little bit of shush, we're nearly there. Diarmuid Nolan, the 3 Mares races, we're focusing on females, not for the first time tonight. What are the winners of the 3 Mares race at Cheltenham?
Mares Chase, I'd love to take on Dino Blue because I'm not sure what the form over 2 miles, but it's very hard. There isn't a whole lot in the race. This could have been an absolute cracker. You've Halka, the Taber, and Impervious made the cut, but obviously they haven't. She's hard to stop there. As much again as I'd like to take on Lossie Mout, Astro Diamond's probably the one to kind of take her on with perhaps, but I'm struggling to make a very strong case for something against her. As much as I'm not sure about the trip with her, I thought she was good last time, but still 2.5 miles could just be something for her. Still hard to see her beaten. In the Mares Novices, this is potentially the race of the whole week. It's an absolute cracker. Dice Arenas, I know you love her. She goes in without the penalty. Brighter Days Ahead is just seemingly they just think she's an absolute machine down there in Cullentra. They kind of won't have her beaten any of them. Harry Swan was on some podcast recently saying that it was an absolute certainty. I just love Jade de Grugy. I absolutely love her. I think at the moment over 2 miles, I think that race will suit her the most. I think she'll absolutely fly home. She's huge as well. She's a beaut. I love what she did at Christmas. Really liked her last time. I think Brighter Days Ahead is probably the brightest prospect of the 3, but I do think at this current juncture in time that over this trip, I think Jade de Grugy could be hard to stop.
Okay, so it's Dino Blue, it is Lossie Mout, and it's Jade de Grugy. It's the Willie treble in the 3 Mares races.
Yeah.
Keith Donoghue, Mares Chase, Mares Hurdle, Mares Novice Hurdle. Mares Chase, first of all, you ride Brides Hill, who is unbeaten this season, and you get a serious tune out of her.
You wouldn't have said that if you see me in Perth on her last year.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. What chance has Brides Hill of taking down Dino Blue?
The better the ground, the better our chance. I'll be hoping for a dry week. Be hoping it's the second last race again Friday, so hopefully the ground will have dried out a good bit. I
I think she has a good chance. I think she's a very good mare. She's probably the best workhorse there is in Gavin. I'd say she.
Wow, really?
She's so much speed, you wouldn't think it. You just be kind of riding her behind the fancied ones and just come with one run. And I'd be disappointed if we can't pull it up to Dino Blue anyway.
And obviously, Gavin also has Limerick Lace in this race. It's actually a shorter price than Dino Blue. If Limerick Lace, well, I was going to say if Limerick Lace wasn't in the race and Mark Walsh was riding, but Mark Walsh would be riding Dino Blue. So would you have the choice of Limerick Lace or Bride's Hill?
No, I'll be riding Bride's Hill either way.
If you had the choice, you would ride Bride's Hill, yeah?
I would, yeah, but I wouldn't have the choice. But that's what I would pick her, yeah. And the softer the ground, the better Limerick Lace's chance. So the kind of two of them are a little bit opposite. But yeah, I really fancy Bride's Hill.
Bride's Hill, wow. One of the best workhorses, or if not the best workhorse in Gavin Cromwell's yard. Mayor's Hurdle, Lossie, mate?
Yeah, she's certainty, yeah.
Mayor's Novice Hurdle, are you with Brighter Days Ahead, Jade de Grugy, or Dice Artinos?
I respect Fergal O'Brien's mare. I think she's been very good. And look at Paddy Brennan, he's an absolute nut job, but you wouldn't mind seeing him get a Cheltenham winner again. Like, he's a serious CV, and who knows? Like, if he won on her, it could be the end of him. But he yeah.
As a jockey.
But,
Do you think he could? Do you think he could bow out in style on Dice Artinos?
I do, yeah. It's mad. He could do
Paddy Askell said this in our podcast as well.
Wow.
He thought it.
But now, Paddy Brennan's mad. He can do anything.
Do you think she could win?
I respect her. She definitely has a chance, but I think Willie's mare will win Jade de Grugy. Obviously, look at Gordon and them are talking up 5 days ahead. I've never sat in on myself, but we're well used to them talking them up. I think Jade de Grugy over that trip and all, she'll win.
Brilliant. David Mullins, Mayor's Chase, Mayor's Hurdle, and Mayor's Novice Hurdle, please.
Dino Blue, lost him out, and I'm going to go a bit out for the Novice Hurdle. Golden Ace. She's second behind Diner D-Sauce. She has 2 runs. She got weight her first run over hurdles. She's by Golden Horn, who I think is going to be a good national hunt stallion. I just think at 12-1, she's a bit of value.
She's beaten Lucky Place, so that form stacks up quite well.
Yeah. Jade de Grugy, I think it could be very good. Just, I'm not 100% sure about the race. I don't think I've seen enough of her, and I don't know much about the second that she beat in Fairy House. And Tom Cooper's second has been well stuffed since as well, the Butcher Hollow that she beat. Brighter Days Ahead, well talked up, great family. The mare hasn't had a Cheltenham winner yet with Mikey Potter, and can't think of the other horse's name, but she's obviously a proper mare. I don't know, I'm just going for a bit of value at 12-1.
Okay. Golden Ace. And you went for Dino Blue and Lassie, mate, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mikey, Mares.
Ashrow Diamond.
Why?
I don't like the Triumph Hurdle form from last year, and I just think, she's right. Yeah, that's it really. Fair enough. She won well the last day, but that Gallimar Saw was stuffed the last day, and there's a reason Willie isn't going champion hurdle with her. Now, obviously, she's very good. She may win. She's short, but Patrick gets a good old tune out of the mare, and that's why I'm going for her.
Lovely. Mayor's Chase.
Dino Blue. I think she's a certainty.
Dean.
Yeah. Oh,
one of the best bets of the week.
I like Keith's mare now, and I like Dylan Thomas as a sire. And it's interesting, I was laughing when he said I've rode a couple of Dylan Thomas, they're savage horses to work. But I just think Dino Blue is a certainty. Like, I can't see, like, would your mare be better over 2 mile, wouldn't she? Doesn't matter really.
No, she wouldn't want to be going any further.
Yeah, the speed. Her family is speed. Yeah, Dino Blue, and then what's the last one? Look, I'm just worried about Jade de Grugy. I haven't seen her off the bridle yet. And Dr. Dino, I just I just wonder about him in Cheltenham. I know he's had State Man. Sharjah didn't really, he was a 2 miler around Ireland, like. But so I'm going on Gordon hype, and the family. I love, like, Mikey Potter was a massive fan of the horse, and you know what I said about Caldwell Potter. So so Ashrow Diamond, and
Astro Diamond,
Dino Blue, and Brighter Days Ahead.
and Brighter Days Ahead. Donn McClean, the mare's race is fascinating there.
Yeah, no, they're good. I like Limerick Lace actually in the Mare's Chase, as if the ground is soft, as Keith says. Like she ran a massive race in the Tri-Town. She won over 2.25 miles earlier in the season. That wasn't far enough for her. I'd be a bit worried about the trip. I think she's probably better over a wee bit further than 2.5 miles. But if the ground is soft, that should bring her stamina into play. And look, Dino Blue, she's a good horse. I'm not sure about her over 2.5 miles. Allegoria Devassi goes to her right. Riviere de Tel goes to her right. Bride's Hill, big player if the ground comes up good, but on soft ground, I think Limerick Lace I think there's more to come from her as a mare anyway. Then Mare's Novices, Brighter Days Ahead. I just think, she could be anything. We haven't got near the bottom of her yet. Look, she's going to be competing in a higher grade now, but she's just done everything so easily. Bit worried about the drop back down in trips. She's probably a mare who'll get further. It was 2 miles 5, I think, the last time, or 2.5. But she's just in from a massive family, as the lads are saying. And the Mare's Hurdle, Lossiemouth. It's hard to see past her. Like, Willie left her off for the early part of the year because 4 going 5, it's hard for them, and maybe that could be a thing. It could just see her move through the spring more easily than if she'd been on the go from early in the season, and she was really good at Cheltenham last time.
Excellent. So those are the mare's races. Moving swiftly on to the cross country and the Hunter's Chase. I like the way this running order is done, actually. This is done nicely. I like to put these two races together and the mare's race together. We're going to go the other direction this time. We're going to start off with you, Don. The cross country. Am I right in saying, and I think I am, you can correct me here if I'm wrong, you were sitting in that chair last year and you were tipping up Manila Indo for the Gold Cup. Are you going to tip up Manila Indo for the cross country chase?
Shouldn't I? Look, he's a big player. He's a 160 odd rated horse. He's a Gold Cup winner. His run the last day in the handicap was a really good run when I think he was given a stone and £8 or something to the winner. And that was an ideal race for him to come on to this race, and this has been his plan for a while. It looks like Conflated now is going for the Ryanair Chase. Galvin and Delta Work 1-2 last year. They're big players in the race. Obviously, I like Cocoa Beach actually. He's a top class handicapper, a T&Cs Chase winner, a Tri-Town winner. And his run in the PP Hogan Chase the last day was really good. Like, he zipped over the banks. So I know the Cheltenham cross country course is different to the Punchestown one, and he's never run at Cheltenham, but he was so fluid over the banks the last day. He seemed to enjoy the variety of it. Jack Kennedy looked like he got a great kick out of riding him over the banks, and I think he could be a little bit overpriced in that.
Okay, so Cocoa Beach in the cross country and the Hunter's Chase.
Cross country.
Will Ferns Lock do it?
Yeah, David Christie's managed him brilliantly. Like, he didn't bring him to Cheltenham last year. He was only 6th last year. He left him off, bring him this year. He is a horse who probably is better on better ground, though, so soft ground would be a bit of a worry for him. It's on the line, though. I thought he was great last year. Like, he finished second behind Premier Magic. He was only 6th last year. You have to go back a long way to find the last 6-year-old winner of this. So he's 7th this year. He's a stronger horse. His run the last day at Naas was a. I know he only got home by a head from Billoway. It was a.
Have you ever seen a race like that in your life?
Crazy race. Like, he and Ramillies had it between them going into the home straight. Ramillies was beaten 80 lengths or something. And then whenever it looked like Billoway was going to get him, but then when he saw Billoway coming, he seemed to pick up again. He got outpaced the last year on the run around the home turn, but he looks like a better horse this year as a 7-year-old. And Emmett Mullins, Derek O'Connor, I think he's going to take a lot of beating.
Okay, it's on the line, and Cocoa Beach for Don in the Hunter's Chase and cross country. Mikey boy.
Cocoa Beach and David Christie's horse. Yeah.
Ferns Lock.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to go for, yeah.
Brilliant.
I was impressed with the Naas run.
It's on the line.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think he needs to do a bit more of that to win now, but he may well improve from that. I don't know whether he left a bit to work on. But David Christie's horse.
So Ferns Lock and Cocoa Beach. So we have 2 votes for Cocoa Beach. David?
It's on the line. The problem with him is it's on the line. You don't know whether he's going to be in front. He will be in front 10 yards before or 10 yards after it if this horse hits the front too soon, like he did the last day.
Is he? He's quirky.
Oh, so quirky.
Really?
That's how Emmett got him so cheap. He's very hard to deal with, and Emmett's done a fantastic job with him. I remember when he first came, they could barely get him to jump off and go out to the gallop, but he's just cajoled him along and got him doing it all. And Derek's given him a few wonderful rides. I'd say the last day mightn't have been one of them. But yeah, I think he's the horse. It's just if he gets nabbed like that again in front, it could be dangerous for him. He's a sitting duck. But what was the other race? Cross country. No opinion on it really. Galvin, I don't know.
Good. Keith, you are our cross country maestro. You've won the race 4 times. Delta Work, Tiger Roll 3 times. 4 times, Mikey, yeah?
Brilliant.
Unbelievable, yeah? Give him a round of applause.
4 times.
You love that, doesn't it?
Getting all shy now. Oh, thanks. It looks as though, if I'm guessing and reading between the lines, speaking to Gordon the other day for the race and post, it looks like Jack potentially could ride Delta Work. You'd probably, if you had the choice of them all, who would you ride?
On good ground, I'd ride Galvin. On softer ground, Delta Work.
But you might end up on Cocoa Beach.
And he'd do on soft ground as well, yeah.
Yeah. So talk to me about the 3 of those, just their positives and negatives.
To look at Delta Works after winning it the last 2 years, he was a bit disappointing in it in November, I think it was, and obviously he was lame after it, and he had an okay run back in the Boyne Hurdle. So look at, he's been trained for the race. You have to respect him. They say he loves jumping the hedges. I don't think he's actually that good at jumping them. I think he just has the class in the race. Like, he doesn't jump them like Tiger Roll used to jump them. Tiger Roll, you blink and you'd miss him. So Delta Work, he is vulnerable in the race to an improving horse like him in Ella Indo. Cocoa Beach, that would be my worry. He was very good in Punchtown, but he hasn't ran around Cheltenham, and there's a lot more hedges, and I just wouldn't like to see him giving them too much air. You need to get through them. And whereas Galvin is very slick, he hardly gets off the ground, and he doesn't waste any time through them.
How sick were you when Delta Work beat Tiger Roll on that famous day in Cheltenham?
I wasn't one bit sick. I'd say me and Jack Kennedy were the only 2 that were happy.
Really?
Yeah, I was after leaving Gordon Toilet. I was delighted.
You have a great association with the horse.
Yeah, still. The day I left, that's what I knew I was missing.
Yeah.
Was Tiger Roll in Cheltenham.
Yeah. And you're back? You're back? Yeah.
I had a great association, but I had no feelings that day.
So those are the 3. I think you're going to have a great chance of winning the race for a 5th time on any one of those 3. In the Hunter's Chase, what do you fancy?
I think Mullins' horse, obviously David has commented and all that. I just think Fern's Lock, I think they're riding him the wrong way. I think he travels too strong, and I don't think he'll stay.
Okay.
I rode him a bit as a young horse myself, and I just don't think he's a stay.
He's more of a speed horse, is he? Yeah. Okay. So you're taking him on?
Yeah.
Okay. Diarmuid, cross country and Hunter's Chase?
Hunter's Chase, absolutely no opinion at all. Cross country, I would be very keen on Ella Indo, which I thought was a great performance last time. I really love the horse always anyway as well. And as Keith said, they're like a horse of his class. He should be involved. Really good run last time. Yeah, no, I do like him.
Brilliant. That's your cross country and your Hunter's Chase. Now, this is the moment you've been waiting for. This is the handicaps. Get your phones out. Start typing in the names of these, because Diarmuid Nolan, this is how you've made your money in life. Handicaps at the Cheltenham Festival. Take it away. What are your strongest fancies?
Strongest fancies are, first we'll start with the handicap chases. I really like the Goffer in the Ultima. I don't think we're ever going to have, back him on the day though, I think it'll drift out. I don't think we'll ever have an Ultima as good as the one last year. And it was a bit of a stones of a ride that he got there so soon. The amount of ground that he made up between 4 out and 3 out, I think he made up about 10 lengths and got there jumping that in front. It was a crazy ride, and he didn't quite get home. Still only finishes 7 lengths behind obviously Moonbig Genius, who's a horse we haven't got to the bottom of, and probably owners we haven't got to the bottom of either. In second was obviously the faster slowing in Corach Rambler. As much as novices are obviously interesting in these handicaps, he's pretty much a second season novice. He's only 7. He's clearly improving. This season, I think it's been a bit of a work back from here. He gets in off 2 pounds lower than last year. I really like the Goffer. I really like him. In the plate, I think one angle that's kind of not looked at too much in the handicap chain, I think we all flock towards novices. Understandably so. They have a decent record, but at times you can get decent prices on really, really solid horse. I think Shaken Wapari in the plate is a really solid horse. Ben Pauling has moved stable. He's now 20 minutes down the road from Cheltenham, and since he's done that this season, his horses are absolutely flying. He's there isn't a weekend going by now where he's not pumping in winners.
He ran well in the race last year as well, didn't he?
He was third.
Yeah.
So he was third off 140, has maintained that mark all season, and then in January, that was a career best when he won that day off that mark. Absolutely hammered Ferrero Bamboo. Ben Jones said afterwards that they kind of decided to alter the way that they were riding him, that in the Coral Gold Cup he got there travelling too well and then didn't finish off his races. He's done that a few times. So Ben Jones was under pains to hang on to him a bit more. He got the 2 out, still hanging on to him, had to go on then because Ferrero Bamboo had stopped, but he flew up the hill. I think that alteration of tactics will really help him, and he's only 3 pounds higher. That was really kind. I mean, that was 12 lengths over course and distance. The other one I really like, but I have no idea if he's running, is I Know the Way You're Thinking. In the Kim Weir, listeners of the Racehour will know that I've been on about this horse for an awful long time. He could go to the Ultima as well, but I just think the Kim Weir would kind of suit him more. I've said for a long time, the second this horse gets up to 3 miles plus, I would just be really, really keen on him. And then in the hurdles, looking at the county hurdle, I like Magical Zoe. She only got £3. I thought that was a big run at Leopardstown. I think the ground kind of killed her that day. And then in the Coral Cup, the aforementioned Some Plan, I think could have an absolutely huge run. And then if he gets in, our good old friend Shambally Kid, I thought he ran much better at Leopardstown.
Have you ever tipped Shambally Kid before?
I have tipped him up about 5 or 6 times though, and not got anything for it. But I just thought at Leopardstown under Danny Mullins, I thought he made a few too many errors, but I still think he ran very well. He stayed.
I thought he actually ran quite well as well.
Yeah, and he 134. I'm not sure if he's going to get in, but if he does get in off that mark, he could have a big
in the
runner.
Coral Cup.
Coral Cup, he wouldn't get in. I think the Martin Pipe, he'd have a better chance of getting
Martin
in.
Pipe. Okay,
Yeah.
there you go. Is that it?
That's it.
Brilliant. So your strongest fancy is the Goffer and the handicaps.
The Goffer, or I Know the Way You're Thinking.
Or I Know the Way You're Thinking.
Yeah.
Kim Muir. Keith Donoghue, what have you got for us in the handicaps? So we were just going through it there. You've got some really good chances in the handicaps. You've got Let's Be Clear About It in the Chase, potentially My Mate Mozzie in the Grand Annual, Stumptown in the Ultima, Encanto Bruno in the Coral Cup?
Or County Hurdle.
Or County Hurdle. And you've also got, that's the handicaps, I think, yeah. Your best chance of a winner, talk us through those quickly.
Mozzie.
Yeah, well, obviously, My Mate Mozzie, he'll need everything to go right. You'll be riding him for luck.
You love that, though. That's how you made yourself.
Yeah, but people on Twitter don't love it.
Do they not?
But just sit that horse second there, he has to win.
You've obviously modeled yourself on Paul Carberry. I know he was great help to you growing up and stuff. The day that My Mate Mozzie won at Cheltenham, you must have got a great kick out of that, did you?
I did, yeah, I did. Look, obviously it was easy to do it. Like there was nothing in the race. He was good. He's going to be a big step up the next day. Same thing as Bride's Hill. The better the ground, the better his chance. Just going to have to ride him for luck and hope it happens.
He's off 150. Do you think he'll probably run in that rather than the Arkle?
I'd say he will, but I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't. He could go for the Grand Annual next year. He couldn't go for the Arkle next year.
Yeah, that's very true. Let's Be Clear About It in the Plate. Any chance?
He has to have a chance, yeah. Look, he's been kind of going up and down in trips. Probably 2.5 is his trip. He's been a little bit disappointing. Well, probably hasn't been disappointing. He's probably just getting beat by better horses. Is he well handicapped?
1.52 in England, yeah.
I don't think he is, to be honest. He'll have a chance, but I can't see him winning off that mark.
Okay, Stumptown in the Ultima.
I actually think he'll run a good race. I know it probably wasn't as strong as a race as he won in Cheltenham on New Year's Day, but the blinkers really worked with him.
He only got £5 as well.
Yeah, that wouldn't happen in Ireland.
No.
And for winning a 50 grand race, when you see what the handicap has given some of the horses lately. But I actually think the blinkers will work if he can get into a good rhythm. And I'm not saying he'll win, but I think he'll be bang there.
And Encanto Bruno?
Same thing, wants good ground. He won very well the same time that My Mate Mozzie won in Cheltenham. So he has good form around the course, and he's kind of been, after he's disappointed in the Royal Bond, Cheltenham has been the plan with him, so hopefully.
And what about, I know you'll obviously ride My Mate Mozzie if he runs in the Grand Annual, but my old buddy Johnny Deneen is very keen on Pat Daru in the Grand Annual. Would you give him a squeak?
I would, yeah. And if the ground was soft, I wouldn't mind getting onto him if I could. Obviously, I might have to lose a bit of weight as well, but
I'll give you a bit of advice on that later.
he's a very, very good horse. Obviously, I should have won on him at Leopardstown at Christmas, and he was unlucky the last day that an English horse came over to the Dublin Racehour Festival, and you know he has good form. Just the only worry would be, will he jump quick enough and can hold his position? That'll be the only worry with him.
Okay, there you go. That's Keith Donoghue's handicap rides at the Cheltenham Festival. David, what have you got for us in the handicaps?
Bet of the week. I think this horse has about. I think he's going to be running the Gold Cup.
Okay, here we go. This is a big build-up, okay? Don't tell us the name of the horse. Just tell us the race, first of all.
Ultima.
Okay, is it an English horse or an Irish horse?
Irish horse.
An Irish horse. So, Doondura in 2006
Mullins horse.
is the last horse...
Paul Byrne.
Is the last horse to win the Ultima, or the William Hill Chase as it was called then. So, you're talking about 19 years ago. Doondura won the Ultima. No Irish horse has won since. What Irish horse is going to win it this year?
Meeting of the Waters.
Meeting of the Waters. For
And I'd say you could back him for the National. And I think he'll be running the Gold Cup next year.
Wow.
Definitely an Irish one.
Wow. Why do you fancy him so much?
I've seen him. I just think he's fitting into that system lovely. And he's just one of those horses that's going to improve. Sort of like a Corbett's Cross again, but I've a funny feeling this lad is more... He's more straightforward. Jumps real well. I just think he's going to take every bit of that training. Yeah, I'd rather him to be owning him than Corbett's Cross.
There you go. That's what you came for, isn't it? That is Meeting of the Waters. Diarmuid, you're going to do me a favour now and get me a price on him with our sponsors BetMGM if you can, and we'll find out what price he is. Anything else for the handicaps later? That's enough because you've given us a good thing. Anything else in the handicaps?
I can't understand how Woodoo only got a rating of 134 in the Fred Winter or the Boodles, is it? Yeah.
Will do.
What's with?
Oh, Woodou. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. He's up to winning
128 in Ireland, yeah.
How is that happen? Like he kind of has form good enough to go for a triumph.
Yeah.
7-1.
He's unbeaten.
7-1 Meeting of the Waters.
Yeah.
Well, he's a she, by the way.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
I have a fancy for the Fred Winter. You didn't ask me.
Oh, sorry. Apologies, okay. Your Fred Winter fancy?
Batman the Durac.
Batman Durac.
Yeah, and hopefully Paul Townend will ride him.
Okay, why do you fancy him?
Because Michael O'Sullivan was minding himself for Marine National on him the last day, and he flew home.
Okay, Batman Durac.
Yeah.
Batman Durac in the Boodles. That's the one the key fancies. So you've Meeting of the Waters and without potentially David. Anything else in the handicaps?
Absurd in the county.
Paul could ride him on the Friday again, of course.
Yeah, it fits that bill, sort of the ex-flat horse. 10 Hill on that track. What else? Picked up Brave. I'd ran in the Melbourne Cup as well. So yeah, that can be done.
Okay, that's Absurd in the County Hurdle. Thank you very much, David. Mikey, what have you got for us in the handicaps?
I like that Coup de Bourbon, is it, in the Martin Pipe?
Key the Bourbon, yeah.
Key de Bourbon. I like the look of him in Clonmel, and he might improve with racing. He seems a guy that just kind of does enough. And maybe I just see, like, the Skeletons always pulling it out of the fire. Maybe Langer Dan again each way, and maybe something in the Coral Cup.
Yeah, Dan was quite keen on him earlier. That's Langer Dan in the Coral Cup to do back-to-back. Of course, he bumped into Gallop in the Champs once upon a time in the Martin Pipe. Don, you've earned a living on solving tricky handicaps. This is your bread and butter. What has Donn McClean got for us?
A few, but King of Kingsfield I think is interesting. He's got 140, which is the same as his Irish mark. We were down in Gordon's the other day. He was kind of between the Supreme and the County Hurdle, but I think given that he's on the same mark as his Irish mark in Britain, he has to go for the County Hurdle. It's a race that should suit him as well. He's got pace. The fast pace that they go will be a positive for him. He's only about a 6-1 shot now, though, so he's not a massive price, but he should run a big race. I agree with David on the Goffer. He's 147 now in Britain. I think he's 144 in Ireland. He raced off 149 last year. The winner was
137, didn't I? Sorry.
Yeah,
147.
Yeah, 147.
Yeah.
The winner was Corach Ramble, who was 13 pounds higher after his national win. Runner-up was Faster Slows, I think 20 pounds higher. third horse is Monbeg Genius, who's £7 higher, and the Goffer is £2 lower than he was last year. He's got form at the track as well, and he warmed up for the race in the charity race the other day, which he won. So I think he's really interesting. Answer to Cave, Terence O'Brien's horse. I think the Martin Pipe Hurdle is the race for him. He's entered in the Albert Bartlett as well. He got 137, £3 higher than his Irish mark. And I just think a strongly run 2.5 miles for a horse who stays further will suit him well. I thought he ran really well in the Limerick race, the Doran's Pride race. When they didn't go a pace early on, it didn't suit him, and he stayed on. He was only beaten about 2 lengths by Loughlin. I know Loughlin disappointed since, but that wasn't his running. So I think he's a horse from a small yard that could go way under the radar. And Madara, Sophie Leach's horse, the horse that won that beat Pat Drew in the Leopardstown race, he got £10 for that. Not sure if he's going to go for the Grand Annual or the Plate. They were saying the Plate, but now it looks like they might go for the Grand Annual. He's 143. He's only a 5-year-old. He's got good Cheltenham form as well. He won really well earlier in the season. The race that's working out well, and I think he can improve again. It's a £10 hike is high enough. It's harsh enough, but 143. He's a horse who could go a fair way beyond that mark. And again, he won with so much in hand the last day, and Patter and Solon has chased him home. It's rock solid for him. I think he's still well handicapped.
Beautiful. There we go. That's Donn McClean's Handicap Fancies. I'm just going to give you 3 that I like. I do like, if it's good ground, I think Am I Right is well handicapped in the Ultima. But as I said, Ireland having a great record in the race, but I thought he ran a real good race on ground that was softer than ideal in the Paddy Power at Christmas. I know Indawi has got 134 for the Boodles, but Gordon knows how to win the Boodles. And I think Indawi is a proper graded horse. So I think Indawi hopefully might be able to beat Lark in the morning, who obviously is well handicapped. And I like Springwell Bay in the Pertemps final for John Joe Neal. So before we get the best bets of the meeting, our charity bets from the panel, we're going to take a couple of questions from the crowd. So put your hand up if you got a question for the panel, any horse you fancy that you want to find out whether the lads fancy it or not, or any questions on any horses or anything for the panel, just put your hand up and I'll come to you. Anybody got a question for the panel? Are we all shy? Anybody got a question? Oh, I think we're okay, are we? Any questions? Oh, here we go, up at the bar. Drinking a pint of Guinness. Here we go. What's your name?
Gary?
Yeah. You're the famous Gary. Famous Gary from the Racehour podcast.
Sadly so. If you had to...
Are you a few pints in there?
Only 2.
2, okay. Go for it.
If you were your choice, get last 50 quid, who would you listen to? Gavin Lynch or Johnny the Nid?
Oh, I can't answer that. Can't answer that. I can't answer that. Of course I can answer that. Johnny the Need. Every day of the week. Any more questions for the panel? Better questions than Gary, hopefully. Anybody got a fancy at Cheltenham that they want to ask about? Go for it, Jay. What's your name?
Adam. Based on how close he's been to Noble Yates and Crambo, given the stamina doubts for those at the top of the market, is Paisley Park not a savage each way bet for the World Hurdle?
I knew where you were going there. And he makes a valid case. Paisley Park, and I love the way you call it the World Hurdle as well, back in the big bucks days. Paisley Park, Donn McClean for the Stayers Hurdle. There wouldn't be a dry eye in
there. There wouldn't be a dry eye.
Yeah, look. For Andrew Gamble and the team. What do you think? Is he being overlooked? Like, he's always bang there.
Yeah, he is. Like, in fairness, he keeps on running his race. You know, it's a division that doesn't change too much from year to year generally, and he's right there. He's run massive races this season behind Dashel Drasher. I can't see him winning it, but I can see him running well. Yeah.
Anybody got on the panel? The lads are texting the women. Any chance for Paisley Park in the Stayers Hurdle?
I can't see him winning.
No
on each way. No. It's a competitive race.
He will run at the race, but it'll be the same story with him, I'd say.
Diarmuid?
Yeah, same.
Unbelievable though that he's been beaten so narrowly in so many races this season. Anybody else got a question for the panel? Oh, now we're up and running. You're here for the night, lads. Go for it. What's your name?
Shane. Just a quick one. Any views on Farouk Delaine or Iker Allen for the Pertemps?
So the Pertemps final, Farouk Delaine, who beat Gaykeel, or the Gaykeel beat Farouk Delaine, I think has been given a mark of 154. Iker Allen looks like he's been laid out for the race. John O'Neill got him to finish 4th in Aintree. David, any thoughts on Iker Allen?
I just think he's a disappointing horse that's been laid out a few times for races, and I can't believe that he's going to take this long to win. You'd imagine it'd have fell right for him before now for him to win, so my money wouldn't be on him, but Yep.
Anybody else got a thought on Farouk Delenn, Diarmuid? Or Keith?
I suppose it's nearly like it didn't work out over fences, and he missed a lot of time, and he's coming back into that. But he's probably just too high in the handicap. I'd say he could run well, but I just couldn't see him winning it.
Just vulnerable to maneuver
yeah.
potential,
But he would definitely look at. He'd give you a run for your money. He'd be up there handy, and they'll drill the head off him there, and he'll finish 4th or 5th.
There you go. So he's not completely putting you off, but it's kind of a lukewarm reaction from Keith. Anybody else got a question? Yes. Go for it. What's your name?
Just wondering, the lads have any thoughts on Braun for the Ultima? He was good form last year, Cheltenham and Aintree, and he's kind of on a decent enough mark. Now, obviously, the meeting of the Warriors comments are kind of put me off, but I thought he'd have a good chance.
Yeah. So Braun, who looked for a long way, like he might win the Brown Advisory last year, he's a horse that's threatened to win a big race, lads. Has he got any chance in the Ultima?
He's a chance, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's a chance, yeah.
Yeah.
He travelled really well in that race last year. Of course, it's a big chance. It's a race as well where he takes a lot of the trends, being having a run there, having ran well,
tasted
in a graded race. So yeah, no, big chance.
Yeah,
Seriously open race.
Sorry.
No, go on, Don.
I actually put him at the end of Cheltenham, or during Cheltenham. You take notes. You're going along. I put him down as a potential Ryanair Chase horse for this year, because I just didn't think he got home last year. But the Ultima was over the same trip, so I'd be a bit worried about his getting home. Over
Mikey is dying to say something.
This man should swap with me. I think that was a corker of a tip now. That man, yeah. I think that's
What mark is he at?
Man.
that man.
Oh, the fella asked the question.
Yeah, Braun.
Sorry.
I wouldn't have come up with that ever. He's a savage chance.
Australia also and people known Keith.
Yeah.
I won thought. If he a better ground and he cut, you got in heavy ground on his starts in Aintree, and he was nowhere. Well, if he gets away a better ground,
Yeah.
Get that man on the panel next year. And
Get him a slot on the panel. Yeah, that's a fair one. I wouldn't have copped that one, though.
he wouldn't cost as much as you either, Mikey, would he? Anybody else got a question before? Oh, Lord. The furthest away. You keep me fit. 1 second.
Yeah.
Did you get your hand up as well, yeah? Oh, yeah, go for it.
I know the lads, David, they'll be getting into the breeding that. Walking the Park's the most hyped up sire ever. Just any of his successful, real good ones, Cheltenham are all out of French bred mares. The Irish bred horses, any ones like that, they're absolute nut jobs. Would you be against them at Cheltenham just in general as a rule?
That's quite an in-depth question, isn't it? So walk in the park. Walk in the park. Would you be against walking the parks at Cheltenham, boys?
No. Maybe real heavy ground, maybe out of an Irish mare, but they kind of have only really, like, their first, it'd be 5 or 6 year olds be their Irish bred mares now, I'd say. So.
You must have a few of them.
No,
And Monty Star is
not
walking the
bad at all.
park, so I definitely have it against walking.
Gidley Park's a walk in the park of an Irish bred mare. There's a
Monty
couple.
Star.
What's Maureen by?
Tempest, man.
Who?
What's that Maureen by?
No, it's not by walking the park. David, are you more against walking the parks?
I don't think Walk in the Park had a placed horse at the Dublin Racing Festival, and he should be hitting his prime mares now with the Irish breds even. So, no, Walk in the Park, I wouldn't be rushing in to buy one.
Like Gidley Park, like they're all, it's more their brains than their physicals as well, but they're all hot. Like you'd be worried about them going to Cheltenham, especially with Irish mares, I would have thought.
Not particularly that, no. They're very, you can ask any of the Point of Pipe men, they love them. They jump, stay, settle, and travel. It's just when they come to the finish, most of them just aren't there.
Okay, happy with that? Yeah, okay.
John Bond will come out now and win the Queen Mother.
Yeah, go for it. We're up here now, lads.
Do we think Shishkin's good value for the Gold Cup based on that the fact he was the moral winner of the King George?
And he was the moral winner of the King George. He would have won the King George, wouldn't he?
No, Shark said Hewitt had him.
Yeah.
and Shark wouldn't tell a lie.
Yeah. Is Shishkin decent value, boys? Don?
10 years old.
Yeah, I just look, he probably would have won the King George, I'd say, but there's just so many question marks about him. Like, he needs to start and do all the right things. He can't hit that flat spot through the race, and he's 10 years old. Like, cool. Like, I know stats are there to be broken, but Cool Don is still the last 10-year-old winner of a Gold Cup. It's very difficult for older horses.
Diarmuid, do you give Shishkin any chance?
Place chance.
Keith?
I think if he plays, it might finish second at best.
I don't know what's happening there. I don't think they're laughing at your question, but I think so.
Oh, you'll hear it on the podcast.
Walk in the park. He was on about a walk in the park, mate.
Yeah. Go on.
I didn't say anything.
Can't go any further. It's Shishkin. Would you give Shishkin a chance in the Gold Cup, Mikey or David?
Yeah, but the chance, 7-1, you wouldn't want to be any shorter than that now.
David?
No chance, no.
No chance. Okay. We had a question here, I think, did we? Yeah, go for it. 2 questions here.
So if the lads had any choice to ride anything outside of an odds-on shot at the festival, what would they ride?
Great question. So if you could ride any horse at the Cheltenham Festival that's not odds-on, who would you ride? Mikey, you're still kind of a jockey.
Jericho de Repine.
Jericho de Repine.
Yeah.
Okay. David?
Grey Dawning in the Turner's either.
I'll just stop, Mikey. Imagine they've dived into the second last with you like that.
David?
That's true.
Sure, it'd have to be.
He takes a bit of organising, doesn't he? Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Dermot. He clatters a couple.
Well, I tell you, you would frighten him before he'd frighten you anyway. So he'd probably get up on the wrong horse in the parade ring again or something anyway.
Jericho de Repine for Mikey, for you, David? That's not odds-on. Who would you love to ride at Cheltenham?
I'm glad you put it in the odds on.
He's odds on to do that, all right.
You're asking the wrong man here.
Hewick. Jeez, quick, move on.
I know, answer it honestly. Who would you like?
It'd have to be Captain Teague.
Captain Teague. Captain Teague in the Alba Bartlett. Okay. And you the question as well, had you? Keith. If you could ride any horse that's bigger than Evans, who would you ride?
Built by Ballymore in the Coral or I can't ride him in the Martin Pipe, so the Coral Cup.
You never even mentioned him when we went through the handicaps.
You didn't give me a chance to.
Oh, sorry.
You never came back to him in the orders.
Is there anything else in the handicaps you fancy? So you fancy Built by Ballymore?
Yeah, no, that's all.
Batman.
Batman, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else got a question before we finish? Yeah.
Sorry, just a quick one for David and Mikey. Actually, very similar to the man at the bar that's actually seriously gone missing now since. Just in relation to meeting at the waters, be very similar to like the likes of Max and maybe come from Eugene O'Sullivan. Is it hard to source horses that maybe have come from smaller yards, gone up to bigger yards and so, well, I'm not going to say 40, but 30 pounds of improvement coming out of them. Is it hard to source horses like that? Because there's obviously been a few this year, maybe last year, Jungle Pros and the likes. Like obviously you're involved in sourcing horses. Is it hard to source horses like that, or?
The hardest part about it is getting an owner that's brave enough to go and take your word for it. Like if you said a horse to Paul Byrne, he'd look into it, and if he thinks, like Corbett's Cross, nobody would have looked at him just because of the sire. You know, he had okay form, not great, but people would say, sure, I'd rather walk in the park that's after winning the 4-year-old maiden. I'd rather pay 400 grand, only I don't have 400 grand, I only have 40.
They wouldn't be as cheap as you think either.
They're not easy to get, and it takes an owner with a lot of balls.
When a lad walks into your yard, they'll ask you every bit of what you think you're going to ask, and a bit with it.
There you go. And that is our questions from the crowd. So thanks, some great questions. We have a proper racing audience tonight. Like they're real in-depth questions about the industry. So fair play, and thanks for those contributions. So it's the most important part of the night. It is charity bet time, boys. Okay, we'll go this way, I think. We lead up to Donn. Diarmuid Nolan, your charity bet, courtesy of our very generous sponsors, BetMGM. Who is your charity bet going on?
I'm on Monty Star big enough, so I won't add him in, but he will be one of my more confident bets. Ultima or Kimweir. I know the way you're thinking, Kimweir.
The Kimmuir. Kimmuir. I know the way you're thinking in the Kimmuir for Diarmuid Nolan. Keith Donoghue.
The English trainers only have 3 winners.
Jesus.
And realistically, what are you going to go for?
Built by Ballymore in the Coral Cup.
Built by Ballymore in the Coral Cup for Keith Donoghue. But your best ride at the meeting is?
My main Mozzie are Bright Hill and Good Grant.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much. David Mullins, your charity bet?
Meeting of the Waters.
Meeting of the Waters in the Ultima. So we have 3 different handicaps here.
Can I double him up for the
You
Grand
can do
National
whatever
as
you
well?
want.
further down national.
So the ultimate.
I'll
and the
ask
Grand
tomorrow.
National.
We'll go single first. I would ask him about that. Yeah.
You which?
He wants to double up for the national as well.
Okay.
I don't have a price, so I'll contact him tomorrow and see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So meeting of the waters. You're going big. You're going to bankrupt BetMGM with this double.
Hard to
Meeting
do
of the
that.
waters for the ultimate and the Grand National. Mikey.
Can I do a treble or it has to be one?
Mikey.
One singles only.
Mikey.
single only.
Singles only.
I was going to say you can do whatever you want, but you can't.
Dancing City in the Albert Bartlett.
Dancing City.
Yeah.
Did he even tip him up? He
He did, in fairness, he did.
He did, but that was
He
the
said no
race.
first and he came back.
That was the race I had to give you a few minutes on.
Yeah.
11 seconds.
What was your travel going to be?
Sergino, Dino Blue, and Grey Dawning.
Okay. We'll write those down just in case.
He'd got the double up, maybe.
Yeah.
I got a double. I was gambling a bit with Grey Dawning.
Okay. Donn McClean, the brains of this operation here tonight.
I'm going to go with Majborough in the triumph.
Going with Majborough against
Sergino, yeah. Yeah, I
Okay.
think he's overpriced.
A Majborough for Donn McClean in the Triumph Hurdle. Currently a 7-1 shot with BetMGM, and I am very much in the Corbett's Cross camp. I think he will win the National Hunt Chase, and I think he'll win it convincingly. So my charity bet is going on Corbett's Cross in the National Hunt Chase, the final race on Tuesday. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is our Racehour preview night ahead of the 2024 Cheltenham Festival. My thanks to sponsors BetMGM and Gambling.com. Don't forget, if you bet €10, you get €40 in free bets, and that will be flashing across your screens right about now. And my thanks to you, the audience, for coming, to you, the viewers at home, for watching, and to Diarmuid Nolan, Keith Donoghue, David Mullins, Mikey Fogarty, and Donn McClean. I've been David Jennings. The very best of luck at the Cheltenham Festival.